Okay, so 150 episodes ago, we had the brilliant idea right before Dune 2 was released of rebranding the podcast, get Dune out of the title.
Yeah.
So Jason, since Legendary released the trailer for Dune Part 3 today, should we, with episode 300, should
We're going
we
to change the
rebrand?
title back, baby.
Back
Dune
to
Pod
Dune-
is back. Play the old song.
For one day only.
Special
Holy
day.
shit. Guys, did you see the character posters that dropped yesterday? Like, people are looking rough. Like, Tibby does not look good.
Yeah.
I mean, a transgalactic genocide is going to put some wear and tear on the face. And, like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if you have they don't have the opportunity to do a lot of red light therapy while they're, riding in those highliners between planets to kill 60 billion people or whatever. So,
I feel like the still suits do some skin protection.
yeah.
They should.
Yeah.
But not enough protection on the eyes, apparently, is the deal.
They need those, like, thirsty patches that you put on that take care of that.
When I saw his, I thought he was one of like the other old men, and then I realized, oh, those are the old men, and that's like it was I didn't know who was
That
who.
is
Yeah.
that is what losing a humiliating Oscar race will do to him, is just absolutely trash.
They took that photo on Sunday night, and Timothy was like,
right after the Vanity Fair party, he was like, that's what he looked like, and they put it on the poster.
So it was crazy when they announced that they were going to do this TikTok trailer premiere today. And so I logged in live and I watched. There was a video intro by Timmy.
Then they got you. Then they got
Yeah,
you.
it worked.
So
Oh,
it
they
worked.
got me.
Yeah.
It worked.
Believe me, I was on the hook the whole time. But this live Denis interview, so this is pretty amazing. Him saying it's 17 years later. So in the books, it's a 12-year
12,
gap. So
yeah.
they've expanded that a little bit. But him describing this movie as a thriller. If the second one was a war movie, that this one was more of a thriller, I thought was pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Was the second one a war movie?
the second movie. I mean,
The second movie was, yeah. Don't
Was
you think?
I mean, it was like an insurgency. It was like the James Bond movie where he goes and trains the Afghan troops.
Yeah, I thought the war kicked off at the end because it was the
Lawrence of Arabia.
It was Lawrence of Arabia, right?
Yeah.
But the opening, amazing,
There's
sniper
fighting.
attacks and
There's
all that
fighting.
stuff. Like, yeah. So we'll see. It's just going to be.
Wait, Dave,
it's just
are you a hater of Dune Part 2? Is that what
I'm
we're
not
gonna
a.
call this?
I'm not a hater. It's sort of like I loved sitting through them both. Like honestly, I loved sitting through them both.
Yeah.
But somehow I came out the end of both or both together. Not. I don't know. Like Like I didn't get affected emotionally. It just
Like
it,
this is what people say about Avatar, basically.
Maybe
Like
so. Maybe so.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Avatar, I guess, sort of
Do
worked for
not.
me. Yeah.
Do not put those in the same fucking.
Did you not cry when Pycon was rescued in Avatar 2? Like that didn't.
I
do
only
anything?
cry when the seaweed moves around.
Okay.
No, I don't know. It just again, gorgeous, lovely, all good things. But the second movie, I never felt. I don't know the stakes. I don't know. It just a lot of really great like individual scenes, but as a whole. I don't know. Did not hit me the way I wanted it to hit me.
Ryan,
maybe
get him.
maybe I went
Get
in
him, Ryan.
with expectations too high. I don't know.
No,
I like that. I like
look,
that. We need dissenting views.
Yeah, I loved
Dune Pod.
On Dune Pod.
I loved the first one. I quibbled with where
Where they chose to
ended
end
it,
it,
whatever.
yeah.
But like okay, it's
Sure.
just it's really just one movie. Just watch them back to back. Like don't
Right.
get don't get hung up on where the thing ends. And
Sure.
yeah, I felt like the first one was a more successful adaptation than the second one. In the second one, in the pursuit of the kind of full Paul story, we lost a lot of the other, the other stuff that I thought made it really nuanced, and the Harkonnen stuff in particular. The Harkonnens were just kind of portrayed as sort of, black hat baddies. There was no real,
Just real bad.
yeah, and I love them both. I think they're both incredibly successful, and I think this is a good example of something that is very different from the source material, but is also a very successful adaptation. And that's why I got really interested when he said that Dune 3 is a thriller, because Messiah is an insane book.
Yeah.
And-
Yes.
And if he's saying it's a thriller, I'm wondering if it's actually closer to what Messiah actually is. Because all the way along, I was saying I don't know how you do, Messiah and as the capper, the third movie in this insane trilogy, because Messiah is a really cool, fun book, but it is not, the outbreak of this global or galactic jihad the way the second movie is. I expected them to sort of tell the story of the jihad, but now it seems like maybe they're actually doing a more kind of true blue kind of Messiah thing, which look, I'm looking forward to. As someone who may or may not have dealt with a difficult book adaptation, I'm very very looking forward to seeing what they do. How Messiah is realized. As part of this trilogy.
The Gola of Frank Herbert is very upset about all the deviations from the source text. I think like the thriller part is very interesting to me, and I think my optimistic take on what that would mean is that it is a 70s paranoid thriller in like a la 3 Days of the Condor.
3 days.
Because like the whole setup for Messiah, without getting into big spoilers, is literally like the first chapter of the book, is this conspiracy theory between various factions against Paul. And Paul very quickly realizing what the conspiracy is, but still being trapped within its web and having to work his way through that.
Yeah, and also navigating Irulan and Cheney and and having to run his empire, which I felt really, that stuff was really juicy and interesting, and it felt very Game of Thrones in space to me, is like the challenges of you take the throne and then like what are that's almost like the beginning of the war in a way, because now you have all of this responsibility laid for you. It's almost easier when you're an upstart, but once you actually have to hold on to it and prove your mettle as a ruler, it becomes more interesting. Dave, have you read Messiah?
No, I never read Messiah.
I recommend it. It's short. It's like a, I don't know, what, 250 pages or something. I think you might actually really enjoy it because it's a political thriller.
But at this point, I would say wait until after it comes, because it's so soon, right? It's only 8 months from now, so it might be tough to.
You can handle it, Dave. You can read the book and still appreciate the movie.
The trailer itself looked absolutely nuts. The shot of Aaliyah in the white dress up on top of the thing.
And they cooked.
All the stuff with her and the battle scenes looked incredible. And then
I like the new Raiden samurai character.
Yeah,
those guys just getting worked.
Who do we think those are? Who are?
I think that's just one of the planets that they went and fucking wrecked.
Jihad.
I bet that happens in like the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Well, Greg did that in his adaptation of the sci-fi mini series.
Yes.
For Children and Messiah. He started it on a snow planet with them massacring, the Fremen massacring a bunch of people as an inversion of the desert planet, which I thought was really cool. But it's just
when their still suits just get so full, they're all.
That's right.
They were all just big snowmen.
Yeah,
Our Pat's looking good in the trailer, looking very compelling and interesting. I thought it was Paul Bettany at first. I assume he's going to have a crazy accent. I would love if he just brings back that half-assed Southern accent that he got so much shit for.
Oh my god!
If his side tail is just like,
"Hey,
I will destroy you, Paul Atreides," like it was just like
or
something
the
really unhinged,
or more foghorn leghorn, like I say, Paul,
like Daniel Craig in Knives Out.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the name of his character in The King?
The prince,
the Dauphin.
The Dauphin, that he could be French.
Tiny, a little cock and buzz.
Yeah.
I will say the thing that was amazing to me about all this was you had the video intro by Timmy, you had a video appearance at Momoa for this event today. You have Anya Taylor-Joy, R. Pats, Zendaya, Javier, all on stage, and I think Denis said he was like, "This looks like it's a movie premiere, even though it's just a trailer premiere."
Yeah.
This press tour is going to be nuclear.
I'm excited for the press
They've got to go up
tour.
against Avengers.
They gotta go. Yeah, they gotta go up against Doomsday, and like in an award season that might be wrapped up by the time the Odyssey is already the Odyssey has already happened to us.
We'll see.
And so like there's a lot going on. It also will be like sort of the post Oscars Timmy press tour of Timmy back from the ashes of ruin or whatever, and like
reluctantly drawn back in, like he didn't really want to do it, and
there's part of me that like really is just hoping for the full heel turn at this point, where he's just like, I said what I said about ballet because it fucking sucks, and like this, and like my version of the emperor, my version of being emperor of the known universe is no fucking opera, no fucking ballet, and you're just gonna have to sit there and take
it's a little known fact that the Fremen love ballet. I'm not sure if you
Big time.
knew that. Yeah, that's part of what it's part of the jihad. They take over a planet and they institute all sorts of ballet schools and stuff. Yeah.
Is that the Southern Fremen, Dave? The more the hardliners?
The fundamentalists insist on the releve after every victory.
Well, I do
the
want to just
reformed
say,
Fremen. Anyway, sorry.
that's right. I do want to say that I did take 2 minutes today to sign up for Kalshi and placed a bet that
Now
Doomsday,
Big Suit in Arizona.
Yeah, that Doomsday will move off of the December 18th date. It seems insane to me that Dune has confirmed exclusive lockup of IMAX for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so the idea that they would launch Doomsday with no IMAX screens, that's like, isn't that suicide?
Maybe it's like a specific. I don't know what like the actual terms are on IMAX. Maybe that like things have evolved to the point where the premium formats, like by including Dolby Atmos and 4D and all this other stuff, like you could take like the hit on the lockup of IMAX.
No, because wasn't that the issue when Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer had exclusive.
They were like locked in, and then like Tom Cruise was like angry and like So
no, it ruined Mission Impossible 2, right? They got crushed because of that.
Well, I mean, I think it
was part of it. The story.
When are we doing that episode?
Yeah. Let's do a
not
deep
soon,
dive
but
on those.
We may talk about them. We may talk about those guys later.
I'm pretty hype about it. I'm optimistic. I'm also glad, I will say, even though Messiah has never felt like the most natural endpoint of the Dune story. Like I always thought Children of Dune was sort of the more natural endpoint of a trilogy, of like the first, like what Herbert really intended as like the first trilogy. That being said, I'm very excited for Villeneuve to like go work on something else after Dune too. Like I'm very excited
for sure.
I will love the movie. I'm in the bag for the movie. I'm going to be in the bag for the entire hype cycle. We will be covering extensively. Like I want my guy to be able to go do something else too at this point.
Well, he's got to do Bond, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to do Bond.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the whole Oscars?
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
Okay. Well, I
was at Nine Inch Nails.
I saw
Nine Inch Nails at Chase.
If you get a chance, you may want to watch it's 2 awards presented by Robert Downey Jr. and what's his name, Captain America,
Chris.
Yeah,
didn't that bomb in the?
It bombs in a way that, like, my guess is they are radically rewriting Avengers as we speak because. It just shows you what happens when it's all charm and no writing. It is like it's a fucking ad for the WGA where it's just hire some fucking writers. Like this is, you just can't, pure snark does not work. I am really worried about the entire franchise based on that Oscar whatever. The presentation.
It was pretty fucking bad. It was pretty bad. That part was pretty bad. Otherwise, a lovely ceremony.
Sure.
And was really stoked to see Coogler. I'm really happy for, like, the Oscars. I always read as less of what deserved to win and more like what is the industry saying deserves acclaim. And like I am very happy for Paul Thomas Anderson to be like
those were my 2 favorite movies of the year, and it's hard to argue which should have gotten what, but it just seemed like everybody walked away with some awards. It was pretty good. But those, to me, were the two best movies of the year.
Yeah, I just want to live in a world where Paul Thomas Anderson and Coogler have like carte blanche and are just like, yeah, you get all the money, do whatever you want, and like go for it. And we've now entered that reality, and
I thought it was fair too, because I think One Battle sort of wins on most metrics, or sort of like it beats Sinners on most metrics, but Michael B's performance was just so electric, and playing the two roles and having them be so different, even when they're, spoiler, both human, and then really different when one's not. I thought it sort of broke the right way, whereas like it was up there in the conversation with everything. One Battle was a little better everywhere, but certainly Michael B deserved the big award there, and Coogler got recognition for the screenplay award and all that. So I think nobody's too disappointed.
No, everyone got something. Paul Thomas Anderson, who long loved, like had a great line in his director's acceptance speech, which was, there will always be some doubt in your heart that you deserve it, but there is no question at the pleasure of having it for myself, which is like a fucking good line, and
a good take, like a
really
good realization,
line, and is like a really good statement about having imposter syndrome, I feel. And
Robert, people don't know this, but Robert Downey Jr. actually ad-libbed that.
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. wrote
Pure snark. Yeah.
Is that his first directing Oscar? PTA?
It's his first Oscar of any kind.
Really?
He was nominated for his. He got the adapted screenplay. That was his very first Oscar that night. First in 14 nominations, and then he got the director and then Best Picture. So he went from
That's crazy.
He went from being over 13 to winning 3.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let me just switch gears for us just a little bit, you guys. So Ryan, obviously you have been in a far removed location, leading a team of artisans working low these many years, and you have things that are coming to fruition. So
wait, Ryan, where are you?
That's none of your business.
Okay.
So people want to know, obviously, because you've been working so hard and you have so many people working on this. So what is the current status of the home theater in New Jersey? How's it coming? What's the deal?
Good question.
Phase 1 is done, guys. I can share
Mazel
pictures
tov.
when we're offline. So all of the stuff that you never will see is kind of done. So
the cabling and all that.
The non-cosmetic, and then speaker boxes are built and mounted, and the whole room is painted black in this it's black to like absorb light, but it's also this like acoustic absorbing paint. I mean, the lengths that these people go to are really bananas. But it's very exciting to see. It was like it's this team that comes in and sort of they work on top of the the builder that's building the house around them, which I'm sure my guy was totally thrilled about. And but they were in and out in 2 weeks, and it was like the first day was there was studs and no insulation, and then he's sending me pictures every 2 days, and it was like it looks like Minecraft. I mean, it was crazy.
That's great.
And at the end, you have these perfectly built speaker box. Really, everything is done that you won't see in the room, if that makes sense.
Is there a theme? Do you have a theme for the theater?
No,
I mean,
I just
Bridge from Star Trek: The Next
Iron
Generation.
Throne.
Yeah. What's a good joke here, Dave? What's the?
I was trying to think of what a theme is. Yeah. It's like just a very weird theme. It's just like I was trying to think of like a terror. It's like the theme is Major League 2. Yeah. Like not even Major League 1. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The second one, really, the second one.
Yeah.
Huh.
I just need to win that rhino.
That's it. I'll be ready.
No, but I kind of because I just didn't want it to get dated and to be sort of annoyed
for
by
sure.
it. But I went. The idea is just to do a touch of Art Deco because I just love all those old movie theaters, but without it feeling like you walk into a theme room. So it's just going to be like a light dusting of Art Deco in the sort of taste things that are applied in there, the carpet and the seats and the little sconces and things like that.
That's what, the Skywalker Ranch, the stag is Art Deco on the inside and looks very, very.
Yeah, I love
cool.
those old movies. I love that stuff. So yeah, but it's going well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, and then Dave, anything new? What's new in props? What's going on? Down there.
We got a big auction coming up, which is the big prop store auction, which is next week, right, Ryan? Jesus,
Yeah,
it's next week.
Yeah, a week from tomorrow.
And like everything, stuff is hitting reserves. There's a couple of gorgeous Jaws pieces in there,
Right.
but both have hit reserve like in the last 24 hours. So they've got the screen matched case and harpoon gun from Jaws, and the screen matched Quint's fishing rod, of which, by the way, both of them have pieces in the Jaws Academy Museum exhibit,
Right.
That
That may
don't
not be
match.
real.
That don't match anything. But these are the real ones. Well, we don't know what those are, but these screen match.
Yeah.
And I sort of definitely was following both, and sort of somewhat disheartening that they've already hit reserve, but not a shock. Not
The
a
spear
shock.
gun is one of the top 5 most insane things I've seen in my time as a collector.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
What do we think that's going? Where do you think the range is for the spear gun? What do we,
I honestly have no. I mean, this is truly I have no idea. Like
If it goes 1 million, it would be the first time that like a non-Star Wars thing that's not, Citizen Kane or the Ruby Slippers
Right.
does that kind of damage. So, my guess is...
and I'm not saying it's going to.
5
I figured
to
5 to
750.
I figured 6, 7, something like that.
crazy.
Sorry, kids.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, but again, I don't think it's gonna go 1 million. But if any movie should, it's Jaws. So
sure.
Yeah.
Let me ask a follow-up question, Ryan, from 5 years later. I listened to this morning your original appearance on the podcast from November of
That was 5 years ago?
2021. Yeah, for Aliens. And you said you were going after the Bishop Hudson knife.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
Yeah. I have that. It's up there.
Yes. Oh, my God. Amazing.
Yeah. Let's see.
Amazing. All right.
Can we-
Congrats.
Yeah, it's
Oh, there you
attached
go.
to it's attached to Hudson up there.
Holy cow. Incredible. Incredible. Well, we are so thrilled to have you guys here returning. You guys were here for episode 200, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And obviously, Dave, you joined us not too much longer after Ryan did.
I think so, yeah.
For Wrath of Khan, when you invited yourself, and we were really glad that you did. So we're thrilled to have the two of you guys here and joining us. And tonight, we are going there with one of the biggest films of all time, Stanley Kubrick and Stephen King's The Shining.
No, not film. Miniseries.
The miniseries, yeah, obviously.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We're doing
Wait.
The Stand, the miniseries with the guy.
No,
guy from
wait.
Wings.
Wait, no. All kidding aside, no joke. We're not doing the Stephen King the miniseries of the Shining.
I didn't even know there was a Stephen King.
This is a great bit. I love
Stephen Weber,
Yeah, exactly.
Rebecca De Mornay, Stephen Weber.
Now
Yeah.
now if it's what you're saying, I love it.
The one that Stephen King approves. Are we really
Right.
not? Are we really doing the Kubrick one? I don't
Dave is
understand.
storming off. Yeah.
He shut off his camera.
It's walked away.
He's out of here. He's out of here. So we will
All
be
right,
getting,
well,
I'm doing. I'll do my version. You do your version.
agree to disagree. Okay, yeah.
I just want to say the definitive Shining star, the one that Stephen King likes is the one with the guy from Wings, and that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Should we just do the book? We can do the book if you want instead.
The band or the show?
No, do your movie. Do your movie with its weird ending, whatever. I'll do mine. You do yours. Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, very good. You're going to keep us honest on that segment. So that is tonight. We are doing The Shining in just a few minutes. Before we do, next week, Jason, speaking of going there, we don't have a guest booked and we don't have a movie booked. So
We're living fast and loose, baby.
yeah, I had a guest booked. I bumped Dave was supposed to come back next week for Last Starfighter, and I bumped him because we had another guest.
Last
taking it on
Starfighter, the sitcom. But anyway, sorry.
With the other guy from Wings.
The manga.
Tim Daly.
Right of the manga.
But Obama bumped our schedule, so now we're
Yeah.
like rejiggering a bunch of stuff to get it all figured out. We will. So stay tuned for next week. We will see.
It's gonna work out.
Can we do some quick Hatch news?
News from beyond. I mean, we covered the main course already.
we got Oscars out of the way, so I just want to just very quickly, both of you guys as showrunners, get your take on the Buffy reboot being staged.
Yeah. Did you guys follow this story, the Buffy reboot drama?
I did. I guess I know we live in a world of, like, obviously there's nothing happening in the news, so obviously the internet is filled. Yeah, there's not like a guy threatening to cancel elections in November. So obviously, good thing we're paying attention to this. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was a terrible idea when I first heard they were bringing it back.
Okay.
And shows get canceled or pilots
Not
get
picked up.
not picked up all the time. What is shocking here? And part of the story keeps being they shot it. No one seemed to like it. They did a big rewrite, and they're like going like, I don't understand. It didn't get picked up. That's what happens. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand why this is news. But
I think it was interesting that Sarah Michelle Gellar decided to throw like one person under the bus aggressively,
Big time, right?
That is an unusual piece of business.
Do you ever have a guy? Do you have a studio guy that is
there's
just like
always a guy or a lady that is the reason you didn't get whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. There's a certain amount of privilege in deciding to throw someone under the bus like that. I mean, would you like the list of every terrible executive Ryan and I have worked with? I mean, they exist. I guess I don't know. I'm very bothered that this is news. That's my take. I'm really bothered.
That this executive from Hulu mined the Strait of Hormuz, and that's what happened.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, man. There's just I don't know. There's more. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, but also I don't understand why this is such a big deal.
It was probably going to be bad. I mean, like it was unlikely to be good, to be honest. It was, I think, like Buffy fans in general were kind of like, okay, good luck to everyone. And
we need new things. We need new things.
Yeah.
I say my glass house, but we need new things.
Yeah.
They are doing a Firefly animated series, maybe, depending on, I don't know.
Is that real? I couldn't even tell. Yeah.
It was sort of like, it was like announced by the cast, but then it was also like, but if you like this idea, like go and, buy
Tell
this
Hulu. Yeah,
cryptocurrency or
exactly. Yeah.
So you had to, there was some audience participation required, which is not usually how I'm not used to receiving my cartoons.
If enough minds are removed, then the series will be greenlit.
The series will go ahead. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's fair. All right. So what else you got at Hatch News?
The last one, just because we have our Conan expert on here.
Oh yeah.
Will this Arnold movie King Conan happen? Obviously, it should have happened 15 years ago or more. And do you know any details about that 2012 attempt to get that up and going?
I mean,
was the 2012 the Wachowskis, or was that something else? Or
that was 2001.
Oh, that was 2001. Sorry.
Yeah, that was the script that we've all read, The Crown of Iron. I would just say I'm very interested in the miniseries starring the guy from Wings as Conan.
You're talking about Lloyd, Thomas Hayden Church, right? Who plays
exactly.
the mechanic. Yeah.
Right. But he's back now. He was terrific in Knives Out, so
Yeah.
he's ready. Yes, that is famously one of the most money against it scripts, I think, in Hollywood history. There's so much money against Crown of Iron, meaning that they paid so many writers.
Right.
So if anybody ever tries to attempt to make it, you first have to pay the bill to the studio to purchase all of those drafts and all of the money that they've sunk into the project. This was actually an old Scott Rudin and Harvey Weinstein move where they would get a project. And
Whatever happened to those guys?
Yeah.
What are they up to?
I know Bob Weinstein's all right. But they would just get these things and just charge, they would charge like their private jet fees to like the project, saying I have to fly around as a producer to try to make it impossible for anybody else to come in and make the thing. So there are things around that are just that are like, how did that movie never get made and no one ever attempted? And the answer is there's just ballast attached to it. Not that's what happened on Crown of Iron, but that became this ongoing problem. And this was the thing that the Wachowskis almost made coming off of the Matrix,
After the
before
Matrix.
Matrix 2 and before Arnold became governor. And that's the thing that we were all robbed of. After governorship and whatever, I was just much less interested in. I was very interested in a sort of 50-year-old King Conan directed
Totally.
by the Matrix Wachowskis. Now I just think like I love Arnold with all respect. Like I think if we're gonna do Conan again, you almost and we do need new things, by the way. But if you're going to do Conan again, I think it needs to be a brand new deal, and you just need
just
to
do
you need to
Momoa.
turn
Do
the page
Momoa
and-
as King
and
Conan.
yeah, you need
He's
to,
old enough
new
now.
deal. You need to like go on and just figure out a new way in. I think and go back to the Howard stories. Is my,
I like it.
Is
great.
my feeling. So I really don't know anything about this,
Yeah.
other than the news that everybody read. But the way it's been phrased, it's sort of like, no doubt that there were discussions that happened. But is this real, or is this just something that somebody is trying to will into existence?
Yeah,
Is my
we're gonna
question.
find
Reading the particular news coverage on that one.
The one thing I'll throw in wherever this fits in, and I guess when you talk about these sort of, these 30 or later sequels, which need a name. I don't know what the
Legacy-quel.
Oh, is that what they're called? Is that what? Or you?
Yeah, that's
are you-
that's
oh.
what people tend to call it.
Oh,
I
that's
did
real.
not,
Okay.
I did not coin that. But.
It's not perfect legacy sequel. I don't know. It needs. You want it to be like Legaquills, or you know what I mean? Like there's too many syllables. I don't know.
many
Anyway,
syllables.
We'll give that one to Chris Evans.
yeah,
for your work, so.
whatever that. Yeah, I'm sure he can like throw it around his non-writers room. There's by the way, I've looked a couple of times at a house he owns here in Los Angeles, and if he would knock the price down, I would happily
write some
I would
jokes?
happily write whatever he wanted
Some
if he
intro.
would knock the
Okay,
price down.
okay.
Yeah, if he's listening, just
Chris,
knock
call
the
us.
price down on your house that you're not
Yeah.
living in, because he moved. The house is sitting there like empty. I think his brother's staying there.
Come on.
I will.
Guy's a
I
junkie.
will. I will literally write whatever the fuck you want. But come on, man.
on.
But anyway, yeah.
Be
No,
reasonable.
but what I
go.
was going to say is, people sort of. It's interesting. Like, I was thinking about F1, which is not a Lega sequel, but is a sort of it's this genre of the sort of the old veteran and the young guy. And the interesting thing, I guess this is where I'm going with this, is in these movies, in the history of these kinds of movies, the point is usually that the old veteran steps aside or dies or something
Right.
happens to him. The reason The Godfather works is that, spoiler alert, The Godfather dies and Michael takes over. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's the reason they work.
That's
And yet-
your opinion.
Well,
Did The Godfather work? I don't know. Time will tell, I suppose.
and the problem is, I guess, with a mix of stars and studio notes and whatnot, is they get these old veterans and then they don't want them to step aside. And even The Godfather, the flaw of The Godfather 3, and I know they were going for, oh, his life is ruined, but in some ways, and again, I don't think Andy Garcia is the right casting there, but the young Don is not able to take over because Michael doesn't go away. And I guess
Right.
where I'm going with this, and even in F1, like, you know, look at F1 should be and could be Bull Durham. And the beauty of Bull Durham is at some point they release him,
Right.
and his, like, even though he did everything they wanted, he doesn't go to the show, he doesn't win the World Series, and he sort of makes his peace with that. In F1,
Spoilers for Bull
yeah,
Durham.
yeah, and now spoilers for F1. It's like they can't. They like they're just like, oh no, he's a good guy, and he steps aside. So he steps aside, but then he also accidentally wins. So where I'm going with this is, if you're gonna make sort of a King Conan, and the idea somehow is that there would be the young son, right? That's the
Right.
the whatever is. You need to be thinking about the young son movie, not the
Right,
Arnold
right.
movie, and I feel like they just won't do that.
This
Do
is-
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Would you have killed Tom Cruise in Top Gun Maverick?
Oh
then?
my God! Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it still would have made $1.5 billion,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No shot they would ever do that. Like zero.
Tom Cruise wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, that never happens. That zero.
Well, they have like the contracts. I remember with Fast and the Furious, they were getting in trouble because like Vin Diesel wrote into the contract that he couldn't be beat up, like he couldn't lose a fight. He had to always win, and it's like at some point that becomes a problem.
I put that in all my tech consulting contracts that I can't beat up. Just
be
like
beat
to
up.
be sure. I mean, I've had
You
some
tell
bad
Claude, please
never
don't make
know.
fun of me for my ideas. Oh my God, you guys, are you ready to get into this movie?
Let's go.
All right.
Miniseries, but go on.
Here
ABC.
we go.
ABC, 1997. Go on.
What did it air Sunday night or like Sunday, Monday?
Super high rated, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The commercial
All right, here
breaks
we
must
go.
have been Steven Weber. Go on.
The Shining is a question of whether we can overcome our demons or if we'll be driven to destroy the things we love the most. Jack Torrance needs a chance to turn his life around, struggling with addiction and violence between him, his wife Wendy, and his young son Danny. That opportunity appears in the form of an unconventional job, taking his family to the remote Overlook Hotel in the mountains of northern Colorado to maintain it through the dead of winter. As months of isolation begin to take their toll on Jack, all three members of the family begin to encounter the specters of the malevolent events that have occurred in the hotel over the last century, especially Danny, who has a secret power that makes him especially attuned to seeing these horrific visions. In the end, can Wendy and Danny escape Jack's psychotic breakdown, or will the evil living there accomplish its goal to subsume Danny and gain access to his mysterious power, The Shining?
The Shining. It's very good.
The Shining.
What's that? What's
The
David
yeah, it's
Boreas.
playing.
he's better at that
It's-
stuff than I.
Ryan,
Dive. No, sorry. That's a
Ryan,
drop around.
what was your first experience with The Shining?
I don't really remember. I think it was probably college. I was a big scaredy cat, so I didn't do a lot of horror stuff because I had some bad experiences seeing stuff before I
Bad
should have.
sleepovers. Bad
Yes,
sleepovers.
yes, exactly. With like Friday the 13th and like Nightmare on Elm Street, which seemed like the scariest possible things at the time. And it was just sort of, it was not something I enjoyed, so it wasn't something that I went reaching for. But I in college I kind of got obsessed with classic cinema and wanting to be, in on these things that that predated me and that I knew were important, and I wanted to be in the film business. So, I remember The Exorcist had its, what was that? It was Exorcist was
73 or something?
73, right?
Yeah, somewhere
so
in
it
that
must have
ballpark.
had its 15th anniversary or something while I was in college. Is that no? Sorry, 25th, right? 25th anniversary. I was doing late 90s, so it was the 25th anniversary of The Exorcist, and they did this big, re-theatrical release thing. So I think I went on a little run there, and I just remember, distinctly going to see The Exorcist in the theater and being, as a person who's raised rather religious, being absolutely fucking terrified by the thing. It was like a midnight screening, and we got out, and it was like, I don't know, it was like spring, winter going into spring, so it had gotten, the temperature had changed, so there was this like pea soup fog, and I took my buddy, Matt, who had come with me, back to he lived off campus in these apartments that we called the Overlook Hotel, because it had these giant narrow hallways, these big white walls, and the carpet. Every time you walked around a corner, you just expected to see the kid come, bounding around on the tricycle. So I went home and I pulled the sheets up to my nose, and I did not sleep at all. And by the way, at the time I was at Villanova University, so I lived in a church, which you would think would be comforting, but it actually just terrified me even more. So I was living in the former head priest quarters over this little chapel.
Well, the church had been desanctified and been turned into a church of Satan. But yeah,
iniquity. Yes, yeah. That didn't help. So somewhere in there, because they were all living at the Overlook Hotel, I did The Shining, and I think it probably came before. It was definitely in college, and I remember seeing it like crouched, on like a VHS or early DVD, like crouched in front of the screen, and I found it mesmerizing because it wasn't scary the way traditional horror is scary. It was like psychologically upsetting, but I identified there was a writer in it, and I liked all that stuff. And then you see these classic movies as a kid, and you're very well versed in The Simpsons and other pop culture things, and you start to backfill these references that have happened that you've seen on The Simpsons and other things.
Right.
You're like, oh, that's where that's from, and that's where that's from. So somewhere in there it happened, but it was related to The Exorcist and me trying to kind of depussify myself from horror films.
By the way, I've never seen The Exorcist.
Really?
I need to.
Wow.
need to watch it. Yeah,
Matt had
yeah.
a Christian bar mitzvah. He's not allowed to see those kind of.
But we've got some decent Friedkin coverage, so like we should definitely get it. We should definitely get it on.
That's
here.
a great one for the pod.
Yeah, just put it on the schedule and then you'll watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Dave, what about you?
Also not a big horror fan across the board, but yeah, sort of similar. Was kind of deep diving on Kubrick from my local rental place, and just grabbed it one night. I had seen probably around the same time. This would have been around in the back end of high school. Like I took a film sort of studies class one summer that my high school was offering, and we did Clockwork Orange. So I was kind of on a kick and rented it, and it was just sort of it was the first time for me. Because it's not there in in the same way in a Clockwork Orange. The sort of like the long, slow, like I guess hypnotic is the easiest word when it comes to Kubrick. Those just shots where you're just like it's just a camera in a hallway, but I can't look away. You know what I mean? Like it's just a guy walking through a building and I can't look away, and nothing is happening. But at every moment, you're just like
Riveted.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just kind of hooked. Like I said, it was not a horror guy, but also at the same time, and I don't mean this in a terrible way, I don't find it necessarily scary. Like The Shining doesn't really scare me. It freaks me out, but it doesn't scare me. Yeah,
Right.
which I don't know if that difference makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
And I don't think he would call it a horror movie. Kubrick. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Jason?
I was going to say Kubrick. I mean, I know we're jumping ahead, so I apologize.
ahead.
But yeah, I was going to say I think he really very purposely went out of his way to, even though there is The Shining and there are, ghosts and things, but he went out of his way to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like unmagic them.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like,
to ground it.
exactly. Yeah. Like, so that like at all times it's happening, but what is exactly happening, in a good way. But, in the similar way of like, I always say like, Raiders, like even though at the end there's all those ghosts and stuff, it's sort of like there. Whereas in the later movies, there's more magic that just seems like magic. I don't know. Anyway,
Right. Totally. Yeah, exactly. Jason, what about you?
Well, like our two esteemed guests, I also was a child pussy and afraid of scary
I was a
movies.
pussy child. There's a very important difference
good.
there
That's
as well.
true.
Yeah.
Adjectival ordering is
Yeah.
important. And I like the first Kubrick movie I saw was 2001, and then like I can't remember which of The Shining or Clockwork Orange or Full Metal Jacket I saw next. All three of them existed in sort of like the forbidden section of the video store where like I knew that those were like scary. I was very scared of the cover of Clockwork Orange. The cover of The Shining also said that was not for me. And I think I probably saw like pieces of each of them before I sort of put it all together as like one movie viewing later. So it was a movie I would have seen in pieces and like sort of knew like the references to without having really understood it entirely. But now I've seen a billion times.
My first experience with this film is actually when I was 9 or 10 years old, sitting in the movie theater, and the trailer came on, and the trailer was literally the blood elevator scene and then various cuts from it.
It's before
and
the
I
Muppet
just
movie.
Wait,
Dude, it was like the Apple Dumpling Gang or some shit like that. I don't know. It was like the Dollar Theater or whatever, and
Yeah.
they weren't, monitoring
They didn't
closely
give a
enough.
shit.
But
No.
I was just like, holy shit. I mean, well, it might have been like it might have been Empire or something. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
In early 1980. But I just remember seeing that trailer and being completely freaked out. And I'm sure my dad had it on video shortly thereafter. I've talked about seeing around that same time Clockwork Orange at the house on video, like way, way, way too early. And this one as well, I saw, and then through college and everything. This has always been a favorite. But I hadn't seen it in 5 or 10 years. It had been a long time. So this was yesterday. Watching it at 8 a.m. was a revelatory experience. Let's just do some quick behind the scenes. I don't want to talk very much about the production and stuff because I just want to get into the discussion. But quickly, This happened because Kubrick was disappointed in Barry Lyndon's lack of success, and he's like, "Let me do a commercial hit. Let's get something, something the people will really love." And so, he had turned down directing The Exorcist. So he had his staff bring him stacks of horror books, and then apparently he just sat there and was reading them in his office. His secretary heard the sound of each book hitting the wall as the director flung it into the reject pile. And one day it was quiet, and she came in, and he was reading The Shining. So that's how it started. This idea of Stephen King at this point, this 1978 or 77, as he's getting this going, had Carrie, Salem's Lot, and then it continues through here. The Shining, Creepshow, Cujo, Dead Zone, Christine, Children of the Corn, Firestarter, Cat's Eye, then Stand By Me, Running Man, Pet Sematary, Misery, Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and then everything for the last 30 years. There's just has never... Is there another author that has had that much success in any medium?
William Shakespeare.
Well done.
Check and mate.
Time will tell. 300 years from now, they may be putting on Cat's Eye.
Akiva Goldsmith.
Just an absolutely insane
Insane run. Insanely
and insane.
successful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he owns Maine.
Yeah. So Stanley decides he's going to do it. He makes the deal that it's going to be his script. He's going to be in charge of it. Steven is not going to, have approval. And he teams with Diane Johnson. And I don't know much about her. She had written a 1974 novel called The Shadow Knows. And he did not, Kubrick did not like Stephen King's draft. He thought it was too literal. And he didn't believe in ghost stories or even, quote, anything that, quote, would imply the possibility that there was something after death. Not even hell. He didn't want any of that.
Right.
And so this is great. Diane Johnson said about the novel, just among us, the novel is not part of great literature. It is scary. It's effective. It works without further ado, but it's precisely interesting to see how a very bad book can also be very effective. It's quite pretentious.
That's
so tough review. Tough review on that.
I actually went for a little extra credit on this podcast.
You read the book?
I was away. We got a little break when the kids head off from school last month. So I brought.
Wow.
I've never read it, and I have this really nice folio edition. The sort of vanity publisher or whatever that does the nice editions of the books.
Is that
so
like the maze on it or what?
There's just a bunch of art, in it.
Cool.
It's more the hedge animals, because in the book they're
Right.
animals.
Oh, right. That's right.
And
They have those in the miniseries, the animals. Just pointing that out. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they get the guy?
It's more
from Moons?
accurate. It's more accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes it better, right?
Yeah. That's what they
That's
always
the
say.
metric that matters.
But I enjoyed the shit out of it. I was a big Stephen King fan all in my youth, but I picked the books very oddly and selectively. Like I did not read a lot of his hits. Like I've never read Carrie.
Right.
I read some weird ones. I just things I was interested in, like
Talisman
Cujo.
is really good.
Talisman's really good, and really enjoy. Eyes of the Dragon is another really good. His sort of fucked up fairy tale, Princess Bride, done dark, Stephen King style, really good one. Anyway, so I'd never gotten to The Shining. I read it while I was away. I fucking loved it. I think it's a great book, and I think it's I think it's Stephen King at his sort of humming along at his best, and I can see how there are devices in there that would annoy sort of literature people with the way he sort of breaks the fourth wall in a bit of a way. But I think that's what makes him such an effective writer. I don't think it's pulp trash at all. I think those books exist totally, but this is somewhere in between. Anyway, really enjoyed
It's
it.
a good
So extra credit.
It's a good book.
That's good. Thank you for your extra efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think also, like, with all respect to Mr. King, I think the Kubrick adaptation is actually incredibly faithful. It just picks its lane through it. Like, you couldn't do that whole, the book is 500 pages long. it actually is structured like a miniseries, which is why Dave loves the miniseries so much. Just in terms of to service all those points, you kind of have to figure out like what is the 2-hour movie version of this, and then just kind of pick that lane and run through it. And obviously Kubrick had things that appealed to him, but there's nothing to me. There's nothing in the book that is invented or anything like that. It's more of like things that he broomed away to get to the stuff that he was interested in exploring.
Are you suggesting, Ryan, that when you adapt a work from book to screen, you have to make changes to reflect the differences in those mediums? And that
Not if you're
while
not
still
if you
being
got the guy
faithful?
from Wings. Then
Wouldn't
you
know
could just
anything
then you
about
could
it.
then you could just cook. That's the essential ingredient.
That's it. So all right. So Jack was always Stanley's first choice. Interestingly, Chris Christopherson was his backup choice. Ooh. And this was an interesting moment. This is like right around the time of Heaven's Gate. I think was just about to come out, and Chris was doing some more serious acting roles. But apparently, they also considered De Niro, Robin Williams, and Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I mean Harrison, I could see.
Harrison
Yeah,
could have done it.
if you did really want the thing where Jack is a great guy that's corrupted by this place, then I could see the Harrison. Everybody loves Harrison. I could see that thing. I don't know.
What's the darkest Harrison has ever played? Has he ever really played a true villain?
Mosquito
in that. Well, he's sort of
yeah.
he's an asshole in that. Whatever
Yeah.
that. What's the ghost movie? The Zemeckis ghost movie, isn't he? The
Yeah,
murderer?
Lies Beneath. What lies beneath? Yeah.
Which
There
is
you
sort
go.
of he starts
Daddy.
like he seems like the dream husband, and then
It's
you
that.
reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so there you go. You could have done it. It's interesting that the Jack selection is really interesting, and like the whole Kubrick wanted to make like a commercially successful film, which I don't know how much of a true motivation that was for him. But this comes on the heels of this 1975 Best Oscar, Best Picture race where Barry Lyndon is up for this like totally stacked cast that includes Jaws and one flew over the cuckoo's nest, which is what wins it. And so you could see him sort of saying like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna get the fucking One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest guy.
He got me. Yeah.
yeah.
I'll show
Draft
them.
him. Yeah, exactly. Apparently, Jack really wanted Jessica Lange to play Wendy for pretty obvious reasons.
That would have been good. That would have been good. Yeah.
They did. They teamed up right after this for The Postman Always Rings Twice, but Stanley wanted Shelley. I love this. Kubrick originally offered the role of Dick Halloran to Slim Pickens, which I think would not have been as good as Scatman Crothers in this film. This whole thing, production took place almost exclusively at EMI, Elstree Studios. Yeah. So this is insane to me. They built the entire thing, including the exterior, as a set for them to be able to work with.
It's totally insane.
Yeah, and Empire was actually delayed because it couldn't get onto the stages because The Shining was late. And
then there was a fire, right? There was a fire too, which we talked about, I think, for Empire.
And then I think also Raiders was shooting. Didn't some of Raiders shoot on the same stages?
Raiders was Elstree as well.
Yeah.
But
and
that
around the same
would have been after Empire.
After Empire. Okay, great.
All right. So last thing, just in terms of recognition, the film received the first Golden Raspberry Awards in 1981. One for Worst Director and Worst Actress.
That's crazy. It's crazy to look at this movie and be like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, exactly.
This is shit.
Well, that was the year that Stephen King was in charge of the Raspberries.
That's it, exactly.
He was on the governor's board of the Raspberries.
He was on it. He was on the board with the guy from Wings.
Yes,
that's right. All right,
One day
so the budget.
fix this wrong.
The budget was $19 million. Jason, worldwide, $50 million.
So it worked.
So
it
worked.
Made a successful film.
It worked. May of 1980 at the box office.
No.
Friday the 13th. Fame. Kramer versus Kramer. Ooh. And Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back.
A little film.
Good month.
Yeah.
A good
month.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to go first?
One of our illustrious guests, for sure.
Okay. Dave, you want to kick us off?
What am I supposed to do? Remind me.
You're
Anything?
What about the miniseries do you want to talk about? What is the most important thing you want to talk about here?
No, obviously faking the moon landing, but no. What I wanted to say was alcoholism. And I think, and I've often thought that one of the reasons that maybe Stephen King doesn't like the movie so much is when you take away all of the supernatural stuff. And I've not read the book, but my wife is from Maine and you're like required, like they don't teach history. You just have to read the Stephen King books if you want to leave. She's read them all, and I've definitely talked to her a lot about them. But what I was going to say is when you remove a lot of the supernatural reasonings for why basically Jack is doing what Jack is doing in the movie, you are left with he is a big drunk, which is what Stephen King was at the time.
Right.
He was a big drunk. I think pills as well, but certainly a big drunk, whatever. And obviously he was accessing part of that in the book, and yet he's giving it these other reasons too, the supernatural stuff. And I think, I guess what I appreciate, it's hard to appreciate, but what I find is within the whole movie, which is, spectacular and elevators of blood and all of that kind of stuff, is a really horrific portrayal of alcoholism and a guy beating the shit out of his wife and his kid. And that's I don't know, when I watch this movie, that is what I think about, I guess, all the time. So for me,
I love that point. It brings to mind a couple things. One is one of my favorite Stephen King quotes. Ryan talked about Cujo. Is like King says he has no memory of writing Cujo because he was so high on coke that it was just he banged that fucker out.
Which freaks me out having read that book.
Yeah, the yayo took him.
But it's
he came from his shadow self,
But it was like he took a lot of cocaine and then he was staring at his dog and then he wrote the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. The other point about the struggling with addiction is that this was pointed out by someone who was watching in the Chuckle Hut last night on our Discord. Shout out to our Discord. Join our Discord. Watch movies with us. Hang out. They pointed out that in the setup, he broke Danny's collarbone. He had this abusive episode with
his
Danny.
arm.
His arm a couple years ago. It's meant to be a couple years in the past, but it's
only stop drinking.
Both Wendy says and he says to the barman that he's only been sober for 5 months.
Yeah.
So there's this long period of time where he's post having beat the shit, broke his kid's arm, and it's because he's a drunk. But he hasn't given up drinking, and the giving up drinking is a relatively recent phenomenon that he's going to move away from. So it's it lends credence to the idea that this unresolved tension with his alcoholism.
And so much of her dialogue, for lack of a better word, is is abused wife coded.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Sure.
There's so much of that. He didn't
the reveal
mean
of the
it.
story?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But so much. I just and I do think, with all Jessica Lange is incredible, and I would argue she can do anything, but he chose. I think he went for Shelley Duvall because he wanted that sense of victimhood. Do you know what I mean? He wanted that sense of I'm not leaving him, I'm staying with him. Whereas, I don't know, it just seems like some other actress, there's a sense of well, why doesn't Jessica Lange, she can get anybody she wants? Why doesn't she, you know what I mean? Not just to simplify, of why Duvall works in just this other way.
That's
because,
really good.
Anyway.
Well, two things. First of all, this is one of the big changes from the book is the fact that from the very first scene, he is giving off a very weird energy. And, there's a desperation that is coming through on that. But to piggyback on what you're saying, Dave, one of my notes, I think Shelley Duvall is maybe the best performance of the whole movie. As much as we think about Jack and what he's doing, I was so affected by her performance this time and the fear that she's always on edge and she has so much that she's trying to juggle at all times and the isolation.
Even
that she's in.
there's a scene, I forget where it is in the movie, so forgive me, where she's just like she's opening up the big giant can of peaches.
Yeah.
So she's sort of cooking. That is a woman cooking who is worried that if she doesn't make this meal right, he might overturn the table and beat the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily kill her, but hit her. And there is something to that performance. I mean, obviously her face is incredible for all the fear, but she is perpetually on edge. And the other thing that's really interesting
I made you the eggs, just the way you like them.
Just the way you like them, yeah.
Up. Yeah.
Like, 'cause she was told once, "What did you do?" You know, that thing. Yeah. And then, of course, the fact that he is quote unquote trying to write and can't write, and yet Stephen King can write when he's fucking high. I don't know. It just there's a lot of fascinating stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime there's a movie where a writer has writer's block, you know that the writer of that movie is really going through it, and is like this is my way of getting this out. Like we get the
that's how we're
Shining,
dealing
we
with
get
this,
Barton
Fine,
Fink.
we'll do Barton Fink, Jason. We'll do it. I promise.
Love Barton
We'll do it this
Fink.
year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't seen it since the theater.
Dave
so
makes excellent points as always. I in with the book in very recent memory, more recent memory than the movie, just because I read the book sooner. More recently than I last saw the movie, even though I've seen the movie 10 times. King's complaint always was that Jack is an asshole right out of the gate in the movie, and that it's the house that makes him go there and all that. But I read that book, and like, this is a child abusing, wife abusing drunk who, as Dave pointed out, like he didn't just get sober because he beat up his kid. I mean, he sort of did, but he kind of gets sober because his life is coming apart. He's been fired by his college. His wife is going to actually leave him and throw him out and take the kid away. But this is a bad person who goes to this place and becomes the devil, essentially, which is exactly what happens in the movie. Yeah. We just skip it along a little way. And look, Jack has a certain look to him that just makes you go, okay, well, it's the Joker, and this is not going to go well. But I was really surprised at his core complaint, and I just think I think something about the conversations about writing that movie, or the reason that he moved on from his script or whatever, hit this nerve with this guy that had this very personal story that he had told.
Well, it's I'm that guy, and now you're saying that guy's an asshole. You know what I mean? Like that's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, all kidding aside, the miniseries does start with him getting fired at the university. It's just like, who cares?
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
You don't
the miniseries is an adaptation that has a lack of decision making. I mean, just to throw the miniseries completely under the bus. It's the adaptation. With no offense to our friends who are big believers in adaptations, part of adaptations is you are adapting something, not you are stenotyping the entire book into a screenplay. And it is an adaptation. That's what makes it good. And the miniseries, which isn't, you're just sitting there going, I don't need to know this. I don't need to know this. I don't need to know this. Yeah.
Just to dwell on the Shelley Duvall of it for a minute. A lot has been written and said about like sort of Shelley Duvall's state while making this movie. And you get I think a lot of the source for that is the Vivian Kubrick behind the scenes, like 30-minute behind the scenes documentary.
Which is incredible if people have not watched that. It's an incredible
artifact. Yeah. And
but it's tough sledding watching it, man. Like it is hard. With Stanley
to it. It's a very rough documentary. It's from I don't know over how many days, but it's clearly from like the period of time where they're shooting like the climax of the movie, like of Jack with the axe and like Danny in the hedge maze. It's like just those scenes. And Shelley Duvall is in a fucking state. Like she is basically says that she has been ill from like March to October or something like that. She's been ill.
Her hair's falling out.
Her hair falling out. Like she's clearly distressed. Like it's one of those things where like I don't hang out with actors very much, where I don't know the degree to which like there's like sort of like a bit of it that's filmed later, where she like is like, well, it was like hard and like, but that's what, like that's what made it great, was that like, we had this really interesting dynamic. And like, so there's part of it that I'm like, okay, was she just like working herself into this state because she felt like that was creatively like, or,
no, but
not even
when
intentionally
Stanley,
that was like what was going on. But
when
Stanley is
Stanley
being
walks
a dick.
up and he's like,
Yeah.
"You're wasting everyone's time, Shelley." Like,
Well,
come
she
on.
did like
You're-
walk away. She did walk away before they said action, which I think is generally considered not good. Like she went to go have soup or something.
But somebody told her to do that or whatever. Somebody told her they weren't shooting or whatever.
she's having a hard time. But
Matt
as
is a big Shelley Duvall apologist.
yeah,
That's it,
exactly.
yeah.
and a giant soup apologist also.
Yeah,
Big time.
exactly. It's like,
Soup is- I mean-
who among us has not betrayed a professional obligation because of a good chowder?
A really good soup on a set is really worth its weight in
really
gold.
worth
That's
it.
all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Hold everyone
My
up.
notes. My notes say Wendy has a lot on her plate, and in particular, the scene that is the most for me is when she wakes up Jack from his nightmare, and he is describing to her that he has just woken up from a dream of murdering her.
Yeah.
And Danny, and it's like the two of them are close together, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you go to this wide distance shot from behind Danny as he's walking into the room, and you're
Yeah.
slowly panning forward, following Danny as he's walking in, and it's just like, oh my fucking God, like, no, this is too much. And Danny's, his neck's all fucked up, and I just don't know. Like, she felt so isolated. She felt so trapped. The machine is broken. The radio's broken. The snowcat is trash. There's just nothing she can do.
No, she was screwed at that point. Yeah.
She, she passed away 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and then last year they did an auction of her stuff in Texas, and I was able to get a bunch of her call sheets from The Shining.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Of which,
That's
Ryan, by the
awesome.
way, I owe you one, Ryan, by the way.
Yes, yes, you do.
Nice.
That's great.
I just
let's-
really want one from the miniseries, but I'll take it. That's all you got.
Well, let's keep moving.
The one I have in the
from-
miniseries is good, but Steven Weber wasn't working that day, so it's just he's just on call. It's not as
This
it's
is a
not as-
curation opportunity for you in the future. You can make some declination. What is it? What, Ryan? What's the term? De-inclination.
Yes. Bad thing. You've
That
the
thing.
word was too close, and now I can't say it. So.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Well, let's
De-ascensioning?
De-ascensioning.
Oh,
Well, that's like when you die.
Ding, ding,
right?
ding, ding.
Yeah. I would just say
so-
curation. but.
Let's keep going with the cast, and let's just talk about Danny. How in the fuck do you get a performance that is this good?
How old is he when they make the movie? I forget. I wanted to look it up, but I didn't look. He seems almost exactly my son's age. So I was gonna guess.
I think
8.
he's 8.
Yeah,
I think
seven
he's
or eight
He's
or
amazing.
something.
He's
yeah.
5 in the book, which
Yeah.
makes you go like, did Stephen King have kids or not? The kids weren't old enough because the things he's saying and doing in the book are just like no 5-year-old does that. He's like standing in the corner, pooping himself or something like that. It's I think the aging up of the character was one of the essential things in that story, just to make the things that he's doing. And look, it's a movie kid, so you have to do okay. He's the smart, sort of precocious version of an 8-year-old.
Right.
But I think the casting is goddamn.
He
Brilliant.
was born in '72, so he was 6 or 7 when they were filming.
They filmed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is Which is pretty. That's pretty remarkable. Like to get that much out of a kid that young. It's pretty crazy.
It said, so I saw something that said Kubrick had a special way of treating him, and that the boy believed at all times that he was shooting a drama, not a
Yeah.
horror movie.
Yeah.
And I love this in Vivian's doc, Danny saying, all I thought about was what my parents were going to buy me with all that money.
Yeah.
And they're like, how much do you think you got? And he's like, I don't know, $400, $500?
Yeah. It's so cute. He probably only made like $5,000 or something like that. Like he's not wildly off. He didn't get like $500,000.
I hope he got a lot of Star Wars action figures. That's what. I
Yeah,
hope.
exactly.
The performances is truly incredible. I don't think you need to know this to enjoy the movie, but I love it. Is basically the guy from Barry Lyndon who went to work
Yes.
for Kubrick, Leon. I can't think of his last name at the moment.
Yeah.
Basically, he was more or less put in charge of the kid,
Yes,
and
yeah.
and basically. Leon basically ran lines with him, was sort of like his on-set acting coach, which speaks to how good that guy was.
Protector.
Right.
Yeah.
But also speaks to how good that guy was as an actor and how he kind of let it like threw it all away to serve the master, which is fascinating.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't there's a doc or there's a book or something about that guy, right?
I believe both.
Yeah.
I believe both. Yeah.
Yes, I have not read it, but yeah, after
I haven't read the book. I watched the I watched the doc, and it's really
It's good?
enjoyable. Yeah, really enjoyable. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Apparently,
Yeah.
the scene between Danny and
Jack?
no, between Danny and Scatman. Where they do,
Oh, yeah.
where they're like they're at the kitchen table and they're going back and forth about The Shining or whatever. Apparently, that scene took like 150 takes or something like that. Like,
Well,
it was
Scatman
like,
couldn't remember his lines.
exactly, exactly.
It's 148. It was 148 takes. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records. In July of 2020, they had updated. Previously, in the Guinness Book of World Records, it was 127 takes for Wendy fending off Jack on the stairs at 127. But the scene in Vivian's doc where Scatman is talking about working with
cries?
Danny, and he's
Yeah.
just crying and
Yeah.
just talking about how special it was and like his son.
Yeah, that was
Just
crazy.
magic. loved
Especially
it.
since he had to sit at that table for presumably a week and a half.
Yeah.
They had good soup.
Go back
Great.
to the cupboards.
Do you want to talk, Jason? Just while we're on it, it's just Stanley in this.
Big fan?
and the Stanley of this.
I think he's great. I think really more people should know about Stanley Kubrick. Matt, when will you watch Barry Lyndon and atone for your sins?
This year, let's do it.
Some point.
They just
it's
did
so
they
good.
just did the 4K, so I saw it on
Yeah.
I saw it on the big screen.
It didn't come
it was
up here.
incredible.
I was really bummed that it
50th
didn't
anniversary,
show up.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I took my son to it, and he was into it, which I was somewhat shocked. But yeah, it was cool.
I'm ready to watch.
You know, I like one detail about the Stanley of it all that stood out to me with this, and just going on to the Vivian documentary again is like Kubrick is like lauded and beloved for his his shot composition and how like sort of specific he is about how he makes movies, 150 takes, all of this stuff, and obviously there's tons in this that support that. I did like seeing sort of the behind the scenes Stanley because there's an element of looseness like that doesn't really seem like that fastidious or fussy, or like it doesn't seem like he's like he's got it all. It's like Mozart, he's got the whole thing in his head, and it's just like making the musicians play it exactly as he's written it. Like there's a scene
Right.
where he's going to set and he tells his assistant basically to like bring one lens but have like a couple other lenses in his pocket because like they might use those as well. And it's like it's that's interesting. Like he's got like he's showing up to set. And like he's got like a pretty he's like, we might shoot this on everything from like a 14 to like a 28 millimeter. Like who could say? Like we're just gonna like we're gonna see what works today. Which like does put the lie to some of the conspiracy theories about The Shining, because like so many of them are based on these like very specific juxtapositions of objects in space of like this thing lines up with this thing lines up with this thing. It's like it's like this scene you could tell like his paper tray looks like a hard on or whatever. It's like okay, I don't know if it feels like when you watch the documentary that he still was like he was as we sort of
Experimenting.
he was figuring
fun.
stuff out on the day.
Yeah.
Like how the movie was going to get made. So that made
directing.
it feel.
That's just like that's normal
Yeah.
directing.
Yeah. But I think the way in which Kubrick gets mythologized in
Yes.
cinema to non Hollywood people,
It's
to
all done
non-movie.
in prep, and then he just
Yes.
Do you
Yeah.
do you guys when you are on set for your projects, or is there a temptation for you to want to get involved in stuff? Do you like try and hold yourself back, or like how does that work?
Well, like, I mean, this is going to sound silly, but like there are just certain times like when you're, and again, it's not, I don't think it's every shot, but there are just things that like come into a frame. Like the ones that I can remember, like it's all still silly and stupid, but like there's a tray of brownies in Eurotrip. It's the pot brownies that they eat. And I just remember at some point or another, I just took them off the tray and then I put them on the plate the way I wanted, the way I had in my mind, I guess for lack of a better word, the way like, I don't know, like the way I felt like you would put brownies on a plate. I can't explain it. Doesn't make the movie any better. I don't think it makes the movie any worse, but there are just times where you're just like, no, I just want it the way I want it.
But you were directing that, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying when you were
co-directing.
show running, like, are there moments where you're like on the set of Veep, or Dave, you're on the set of House of the Dragon, where you're like, hey, shouldn't we like make a change there? I only asked because I remember Greg talked about working on another show, not House of the Dragon, and he talked about how like he asked somebody a question, and that department head, instead of answering the question, like looked to the showrunner instead. And Greg was like, okay, I can see how this is going to work now. So I'm just kind of curious that dynamic of the director versus showrunner.
Yeah, I mean, I try. I mean, as somebody that has never, directed, I try to. I'm always talking to everybody in my orbit, including the other writers that I have cover set. Like I talk about, like this job is about strike zones. You have to establish strike zones, and you have to give them to the costume designer and the production designer and the actors and the directors. You cannot be prescriptive. I mean, on occasion you can be like, move the dagger so we can fucking see it, but you can't be like go into a scene prescriptive, because it panics everybody and it makes them shut down. It makes them start just they do puppeteer work versus being creatively engaged with your show. So that's the way I always kind of do it. But I also violate my own rule, and there are times when I like jump in there and I'm like, no, I want this over here and this is why, and I want this thing to happen this exact way, because I'm far enough along in this thing now that I can cut it in my head in a way, and I just know what I'm going to be wanting in 5 months when I'm sitting there in post alone with the footage. But I try to make that once in a while versus every day on set. And I find that I have, over the course of working with, I don't know, at this point 7 or 8 directors on this particular show, I have a very good working relationship with all the directors that I walk on a set with, because they see me coming and it's not like, oh, what's he going to tell me to do? Most of the time I'm silent and I just speak up when I need to. And I think that's the trick of this job, is to not try to get your hands in the clay all the time. You just have to, like, strike zones. Are is the actors on tone? Are they serving the script? Is the story right, correct? Is this thing what it needs to be in the final, in the final iteration of this? And that's the job.
It's working. Lonnie was very happy when he was here and was very excited about the upcoming premiere. So
Good.
You're doing it. You're doing it right. I did love the description, Jason. Sidney Pollack, who, God, that just made me want to watch Eyes Wide Shut immediately. But him describing Kubrick as a combination of a professional photographer and a chess hustler.
Yeah, that's good.
Love it.
That's good.
One of the things, just to talk about Kubrick for a second, or I think one of the things that's fascinating about the movie is that not only obviously are we doing it here on this special episode, but that, like, even if you go to, like, if you Google it or go to Wikipedia or whatever, I mean, not just like the crazy moon landing stuff, but there are people talking about the Holocaust. They're talking about Native Americans, like, just that, like, whether or not he was doing anything, and I'm not even getting into the conspiracy stuff, like, just whether or not these things are influences on it, that the guy was trying to make a movie that was a crowd pleaser, that was trying to make a quote unquote a hit, or whatever he was doing. But he himself was so well read, and he was so, like, the layers upon the layers, that we're watching it and we're still trying to figure out, like, oh, does them walking through the ballroom mean the Holocaust? I don't know. Yeah. Like, there's just something, like, I think that is part. Yeah, but I do think that is part of the majesty of this movie, is that we're still dissecting it like a great novel, more so than we are dissecting the novel, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's right. I mean, I do think that's like I think that's a great gift of Kubrick's films. Like, and it's, when we talked about 2001 and why it's my favorite movie, it's like they're movies that, reward you to, like, kind of rewatch them. You immediately want to finish the movie and then start it again. And that is a rare gift in
absolutely
in anything, in like a book or a movie or anything. It's just to be like, no, I don't know everything that was in here. I didn't, like, perfectly get it. But instead of being frustrated by that, like, I just want to give it another chance, and I'll see something anew with fresh eyes, which is like why I think like the conspiracy, like a lot of the conspiracy stuff is ridiculous. But like the idea that someone is like, okay, like I have proven we never went to the moon because of like the way that the way that the font looks on this key in The Shining, which is like a literal thing that people believe. It's like the
Okay,
best
my
one
guy.
No, absolutely.
the best one of that on the moon landing one is that like the room, the key for room 237, it says room number, but number is abbreviated NO. And so he's like, the only capital letters are RROM and then N. And the only two words that you can make with ROOM and N are room and moon. I was like, okay.
There you go.
Moon, no.
Right,
See?
exactly. Yeah.
Right there.
But like I said, but I mean, again, it's beyond the conspiracy stuff. It is the stuff that, like, what like people have written books about, like, like what this movie means, and certainly that is not happening with every movie. And I just think that speaks to this film, like, and it's hard to quantify that, but I'm fascinated by
how you make a movie that like Star Wars, like Blade Runner, the things that just require this. And that's part of the magic alchemy of making art.
The space that the film takes is part of what I think allows that to happen, right? Like you have so much time, you're not being driven by sort of plot things happening. It has a space to breathe, and then that leaves you wondering, like, what is that little detail that I'm seeing here?
And everything is intentional. It doesn't feel like anything is in there non-intentionally. Thus, it makes you look at everything and analyze everything and break everything down.
For sure. So my notes on this, we'll do our Deakins Award for Outstanding Excellence. My notes say this is fuck you cinema. So the DP is John Alcott. He shot Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, The Shining, Fort Apache, The Bronx, and The Beastmaster. Some of his lesser known work. So an incredible pedigree working with Kubrick here, and also very involved in this film on set and working was Garrett Brown, who was the inventor of Steadicam. So Steadicam had just come out. We did Marathon Man last year or 2 years ago, something like that, and that was the first usage of it when he's running down by the water. But Bound for Glory, Rocky, all released in '76. But this was an unbelievable use of it. And also just like the tracking shots, like the opening scenes of them walking from room to room with the ballroom as Ullman is explaining, all of these things, or obviously the shots tracking the big wheel as it's going on the carpet and off the carpet, the sound design, and it is just an absolutely stunning, like over and over, as I was watching the film, I was completely gobsmacked at the cinematography in this film.
Completely. And that is actually a point that I wanted to bring up too, which sort of dovetails into that, is this movie is such a great study in location as character, and we always talk about it. Arrakis as a character. Of course, Arrakis is a character, but like the Overlook Hotel is actually alive in a way, and I think that has become. It's not necessarily the first. I mean, I'm sure there are other kind of examples that aren't leaping to mind from classic cinema that predates The Shining, but the Overlook Hotel. You just say the Overlook, and everybody knows what you're talking about, and it really is there's Jack and Wendy and Danny and the Overlook and Scatman, and that is the kind of cast of that movie, and it's just become such an emblem. I mean, we did it sort of unapologetically borrowing from great masters. Our depiction of Harrenhal, we always talked about as Damon goes and stays at the Overlook Hotel, and like what whereas Jack was a normal person that was made into a psycho killer. Damon was at times a psycho killer going and moving, and like, what does that do to him? And it opened new things and kind of made him see things in himself that he was probably had shut off from view intentionally, and it forced him to look into things and see into his psyche and his soul and whatever. But we were just very interested in that with this famous castle that is this kind of haunted and cursed place as it's known in the lore, and it just seemed like a great fertile ground for doing some interesting things that felt like within the lore, but kind of new to and specific to the show versus what's in that particular section of the history. I just find it a great study in sort of a not inanimate object as a real living, breathing, three-dimensional character.
Shout out, I mean, I know there were some people who were like, oh my God, why is Damon at this castle all season? This is like kind of stressing me out. But like that payoff at the journey, when she shows up and you have them reunited and you honestly you cannot know which way this is going to go. And the emotional payoff of that for the end of the season was just unbelievable.
Yeah, it was very good.
Well, thanks.
And so it's funny. I was going to say last time we had you was right before the trailer had just come out for Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and a lot of people have been like, "Oh my God, this is so great that it's like a character-focused show, and House of the Dragon is the big spectacle show." And I'm like, yes, House of the Dragon is this big spectacle show, but like to me, still the best moment of 2 seasons of the show is Patty Considine showing up and walking down in the throne room. It is not the battle, that huge battle in season 2. The character moments are still the thing that for me drives the show, and you should be congratulated for that.
Well, thanks. Yes. No, it's we are making big spectacle, but I think it's just because we have like something like 19 point of view characters that it can feel it's this like sprawling epic, so you just don't get to spend as much time singularly with like Dunk or Egg, whoever the equivalent of those characters are in our show.
You lack sort of a Steven Weber to sort of like
precisely. I mean, that's where I was whining at. And if you'd let me go in 18 minutes, I would have gotten around to that. But thank you, Dave.
Right.
Thanks for you always have a way of just cutting right through, getting right to the heart of it.
Get back in.
I prefer the
will
other
say,
Wings guy.
Tim Daly?
Yeah.
Tim Daly was great on Studio 60. I just want to say
Matt is the last great defender of Studio 60. Oh, maybe you and Dave together.
Dave?
I was obsessed with it, but not for the reasons anyone would.
It is so astonishingly bad.
It has problems. The pilot was good, but so let me just say the aspect ratio. So this film was shot 35 millimeter with a negative ratio of 137 to 1. Projected at 185 to 1. But I'd remembered this from back when DVD first came out. Kubrick was obsessed that he never wanted his films to be shown on DVD with letterbox. He always wanted
he didn't want
to be
the black,
133. Yeah, he wanted 1331. So he shot it specifically knowing that stuff would be cut off and that it would be able to be there. But fortunately, the 4K is 1851, and it just looked absolutely fantastic.
It's a great 4K, yeah.
Yeah,
it fills the screen and looks amazing.
Yeah.
The other thing I noted was the original yellow and brown color timing, like the original shot, and the comparison of that to the final, where he just like amped up the blues all the way to make it so cold and terrifying.
I don't think I've ever seen. Yeah,
there's just like 1 second in one of the behind the scenes that they had is not the Vivian one,
where they
but one
show
of the
it?
other ones. Yeah, it talks about the cinematography of it and him in specific.
Interesting.
What do you guys think about the score of this film? We have Wendy Carlos and Rachel Elkind.
I mean, it's iconic. I mean, the theme, the recurring, the bomb, 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 bomb. That is just, it's iconic, and it can unsettle you wherever you hear it in any context. It's funny, I forget where I had heard it a couple weeks ago, just completely out of context, and I was put right into the Overlook Hotel. So in that way, it's effective, but I couldn't tell you another cue from that entire movie. So
yeah, there's all the crazy stuff that happens as things fall apart in the third act. That's like very
strings and
jangly
stuff, and
that's very like whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love
more
it.
sound design than score.
Yeah, it's funny, like watching the Shining. I was watching it on like a computer monitor. I wasn't watching it on a particularly big screen, but like the opening of it, like it feels just so like, yeah, I was like, oh, am I watching like an IMAX movie? Like it feels like so contemporarily huge. And similar, like, when they get to the Overlook, it's so expansive and so vast that you feel like these very large spaces that even on a small screen feels remarkable.
Those opening helicopter shots are totally nuts, where it's like coming towards the island and then it kind of like veers off. And then when it comes over by the VW Bug, and then it just goes off the road as if you are like just having a disaster before anything has even started. It's just completely unsettling. That was up near Wild Goose Island in Glacier National Park and Montana. And obviously, these scenes, some shots of this were used for the Blade Runner theatrical cut. For the happy ending.
The happy ending. Love it.
Ryan, what is your next point?
I'm sort of fascinated by the Jack as the writer that's gone up there trying to write.
Yes.
And I find that to be, it's a lot of times like writer shit written by writers is the worst and that's why most times it doesn't work, because who else is writing it but a writer. But in this one, it actually works because of the genre bent on it. And that was one of the most fascinating things to me about book versus movie versus adaptation. The all work and no. First of all, in the book, he's writing a play. He's not writing a novel. In the book, the all work and no play that's a complete invention of the movie. You actually get very little writing time from Jack at all. He's going in his head about he's trying to solve this issue in the third act or whatever, and he just can't work it out. He's writer blocked. But it's not the experience of seeing him hunched over the typewriter and the sound design of the click 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 of the keys. There's just something about him being in this haunted castle up in the snow and also not being able to write that just it just hit me in the
personal
in the right. Yes, it just felt like a personal attack. No, I just really enjoy the depiction of that and the slow descent into madness, and it's not just the writing and the classic all work and no play. I mean, again, just this very simple, almost nursery rhyme line that becomes this haunted thing now in our life and society, because we think of Jack Torrance murdering his family when we see
it's
that line.
so fucked
the
up
tennis
though.
ball and all the stuff, all the cinema that goes into the creation of that. I just, as a writer, at times I really enjoyed that.
That reveal of all work and no play is so fucking scary.
It's so
when
good.
You think about what it conveys and the amount of work that he's been doing in his psychosis there. So I'll ask you guys in a second about, these pages being up, because I'm sure these have come up for auction. But for the international version, not only did they have to do 1 million copies, they had to do it in German, which was never put off till tomorrow, which you can do today. For Italian, the morning has gold in its mouth. The French, oh, here you go. And Spanish, no matter how early you get up, the sun you can't make the sun rise up sooner. So those were in language for each of those. They had to type up all of those pages. So do you guys have those pages? Do you guys have the typewriter?
No, I mean, none of the typewriter is missing.
Jesus.
Nobody knows where it is. There was a thing in the exhibit a while ago, the Kubrick exhibit, but it was the same model, but it was not, or a similar. I think it was a similar model, right. But it was clearly not the one. It was not right. There have been rumors that somebody knows where it is. It's out there. That would obviously be the thing to have from this movie. But the pages, I mean, I've never seen pages. I think the pages are all kind of in the archive, right? Yeah. I went to the Kubrick archive and I saw pages.
I thought there were pages in the typewriter in the exhibit, so I think maybe they were on display.
So maybe the pages were right, but the typewriter wasn't. Yeah, the Kubrick archive is actually here in London. So
tell me about the Kubrick archive.
You can go with you just sort of request a visit, and it's easy. It's easy, especially easy if you're a film person or a student or somebody in the arts. And I went in with Lonnie,
movie podcaster,
right before we started. right before we started up. This is an archive I've been to that Dave hasn't been to. Right before we started up season 3, Lonnie and I went down and handled everything. But they took out, Danny's clothes, so his like little coveralls. They brought out some one of Jack's flannels that they showed us. The clapperboard from The Shining. They brought out Kubrick's personal copy of the Shining novel.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow. And the page where he hand wrote Red Rum on the page. Like we flipped to it and found it, and it was great. It was great fun. The archive is much more paperwork, photography, research. His entire research library they recreated in the stacks inside the archive. So those, I don't know what they call them, but those collapsing library shelves that they have in the archives with the thing that you crank. So it's that, and they open up, but it's Stanley's bookshelves recreated as he had them in the house, like by sort of reference section and whatever. So they would just open up and be like, here's all his research on the Aryan Papers, which is that movie that he never made. It's fucking incredible. It was such a cool experience. But again, I was really hoping to handle an axe or see the typewriter. It's just much more of like what Stanley kept, which is unfortunately
documents.
And great, but documents. And it's behind the scenes photography. So I just got all the stuff on The Shining. I was looking into Shining in 2001. There was much more Shining than 2001, but I just going through photos and it's just like, oh God, this is incredible. But you can't photograph anything. You can't take anything with you. So you just go in there. You can research it. You can go and take notes and things like that. But it's just the rules are very strict.
I went to a
The Stanley Kubrick archive,
it's like its own thing.
It's just it's endowed by the family, and this I forget the name of the college. I can write it to you guys later if you want to subtitle it in or something. There's a university here in London that that houses it, and obviously takes is the caretaker of it, but it's the family gets to say what goes.
It's the same thing. There's the Herbert. There's the Herbert archives. There's the Tolkien ones that you can go check out. I went to the Museum of Moving Image in Queens and saw some Kubrick thing there. But then wasn't there like a massive Kubrick exhibit?
There's been one that has traveled for like the last 15 years.
Where is it?
Yeah, I came to LA. I think it's done finally. So
I saw it when it was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Guys, are we going to meet up in LA for the Lucas one?
Let's do it.
That's September.
Live podcast.
Oh, that'd be fun.
From the lawn.
Yeah, and then we'll go to the ranch. Just amazing shit to see. What do you think, Jason? What's your final point?
I mean, have we talked enough about Jack Nicholson in this movie? I don't know if
we should probably hit him.
I mean, like it's interesting to me that given the context of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest wins. Kubrick wants to make like a movie with a star, wanted to make a movie with Jack. I feel like he clearly writes and creates. It's one of Jack Nicholson's 3 most iconic roles, and it's not number 3, right? Like it is one of the most significant, like culturally influential roles in movie history. And I think even for an actor as celebrated as Jack Nicholson, like at the top of the list.
It's eclipsed Cuckoo's Nest. I mean, that was an important movie, and it's a more serious. It's literature as a movie. But now today, I mean, his role as the Joker and his role as Jack Torrance. I mean, those are top 2, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's Jack Nicholson. Right? I mean, Departed is
but
in there.
But it is a funny thing that I feel like there's a version of like. It's like people know Jack from The Shining that have never seen The Shining.
Right.
So there's a group of people that think the entire performance is just, here's Johnny, like for 2 hours, that they think that's what the movie is. And I think to his credit, it's an acting class. Watching him go from minute 1 to the frozen at the end. I mean, it's wild. It is a wild acting journey that, I mean, again, you talked about some of those other names. I'm not sure some of those people could have done what he does. And evoke so many different things where there are moments that even, what a piece of shit, and there are moments you feel a little bad from him, and then there are moments you are scared for him, but then there are moments you're scared by him, and it's really, I mean, it's just, I mean, it's really incredible, and I do think in some ways the Here's Johnny almost takes something away from it, just because people have reduced it to that. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like him walking down the hallway and like gesticulating furiously, or all of his scenes where he's sitting there with Joe Turkel as Lloyd, the bartender, just absolute. Like, this is so iconic. It just like, this is cinema. These are the moments.
The Lloyd stuff is really interesting because it's clearly ironic in the sense that like he's performing, he is performing a part in the movie, right? Like that is not Jack Torrance the character. That is Jack Torrance playing the role of the guy who's going along with this dark fantasy of talking to the ghost bartender and this whole other thing. He's playing it up in like, White Man's Burden, and all of his line readings in this this like arch ironic thing.
What does he eat? Like, he throws back and he eats
He's got
something?
a handful of peanuts.
Okay.
But like, whereas like, this is a pretty tight, this is a pretty high wire act that he's got to pull off here, because it could easily just become too broad and over the top. There's this interesting, well circulated bit of Steven Spielberg talking about The Shining, and so like Spielberg's in London, goes up to visit Kubrick's country estate. It's relatively after The Shining came out, and he has this encounter with Kubrick where it's clear to Kubrick that Spielberg doesn't like The Shining. He's like, oh, well, there's lots of things about it I did like. He's like, yeah, but there's lots of things you didn't. And he's like, Ed Kubrick says, like, well, quick, like, without thinking about it, name your favorite actors of all time. And he says, like, Jimmy Stewart and Clark Gable, all these like naturalistic, mid-century actors. And Kubrick says, oh, stop right there. Like, where's James Cagney on your list? He's like, oh, well, pretty high. He's like, but not in your top 5. He's like, for me, James Cagney is top 5, and that's why Jack Nicholson is great in this movie. And there's something about like being willing to do in this movie this operatic performance that Jack Nicholson is doing. That's like so. It's just a really remarkable bit of acting, and I just love it. Every time I watch it, I'm amazed. And then you see the behind the scenes stuff where he's like having to hype himself just physically into this to like get the he's like, okay, axe murder, he's really having to like kind of get his blood flowing to even like pull this crazy shit off. I
imagine that's what you do before the pod.
That's exactly what I do. I get an axe, and I imagine breaking into wherever you are. So you are secured.
It was a croquet mallet in the book.
Yes. It's not as exciting as an axe.
Yeah.
Didn't
it's
you guys hold the axe?
It's the Colorado croquet, right? It's like a
or was the axe not there?
It's a larger version of croquet that they invented or something.
Yeah. It's actually, I think it predates croquet. Croquet comes from rock. So it's like the proto version, but it's this giant. It's a giant hammer.
It's in the miniseries. Don't worry about it.
They've got the right.
Do they do the wasp thing in the miniseries, Dave?
I honestly don't know.
If it's in the book,
wasp thing?
If it's in the book, they do it. There's a set of dead wasps, and they come back to life and sting Danny.
He has to remove this. He's the caretaker, so he's going up and doing reshingling on the roof, and he finds this wasp nest. So there's a couple wasps, and he gets stung and whatever. So he brings it down. He shows Danny, and he bug bombs the thing, kills all the wasps, and makes sure it's dead. And then he puts it under a glass thing, and he's like, I used to, my dad would remove wasp nests all the time when I was a kid, and it's just cool to have in your room and whatever. So he convinces Wendy to put it in Danny's room, and then it comes back to life in the room, and Danny almost dies. And it's like it's the first thing that happens where you're like, oh,
that's what's going on here.
Yeah. Something's up at the hotel. Yeah,
but there's also a whole under thing of like the character, not the character, but sort of the notion of his dad, where you get the sense that his dad must have been an alcoholic. That beat the shit out of him.
Horrible in the book.
So there's all of that too. So it's a whole other piece. Yeah, sorry.
What about for Jack? Just all the mirror shots, right? Him, I was struck by the ones where he's in bed and you're seeing his face in the mirror reflection. and some of those long shots there. But apparently, every scene where he's interacting with the ghosts, he is speaking to a mirror, which
that's
was not
fun.
something that I
like
noticed,
that.
but that was a cool.
I like that. There's the scene when he leaves the bedroom after one of the fights, and he looks directly in the camera for a second. There's a half second where he looks directly into the camera as he storms off, and it's this like very intentional breaking of the fourth wall of like, oh, like Jack's like, you know, able to see beyond and can even see us like watching the movie, and it's like it's legit terrifying. Like once you notice it, you're just like, oh fuck, he's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, he's gonna fake the moon landing.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we just talk for a minute about Scatman the goat?
Yeah.
You gotta love him. The shot of him watching TV with his feet just sitting there, and then
Amazing
the
art.
topless artwork. Has that been sold? Are those props?
Yeah,
out
where's
there?
Have never seen his feet for sale, and have never seen the topless.
But his
topless
jacket, the hatcheted jacket came up, and it was actually matched. But somebody took it home and repaired it because they were using it as a winter jacket. Yeah, so they washed all the blood out, but it's still matched because of like the buttons and whatever. So, but his jacket did go. You know, when he gets the hatchet taken, because that was
so
England back in
funny.
that era. You know, use that jacket. You gotta sew that back up. That's,
The Jerry's might
free
be
jacket. Yeah,
that's good stuff.
So this was one of the biggest changes from the book that affected me. So he survives after taking the plane, driving 5 hours to get in the snowcat, and then drive the snowcat up, and then to take the axe to the chest. In the book, he survives, and there's this incredible moment. I was reading I still remember, this was 20 years ago I read this book. And Scatman is with them in getting ready to get the snowcat, and he looks over and he sees a hammer on the side or something, and he's like, "Oh, I should just pick up this hammer and I should smash their brains in and kill them." And he basically makes a will save, and he survives and puts the hammer back down.
Oh, okay,
but I just remember throwing the book across the room. I was so terrified that he was about to kill them.
Oh.
Am I remembering that right, Ryan?
Yeah. Because in the book, the hotel is trying. It attracts people with The Shining.
Right.
So it never really gets into like how Scatman worked. But he in the book he was like, nobody knows. Basically in his internal monologue, he's like, nobody knows, but I'm not coming back to this job because I've had it with this place. He knows the place is fucked, and it gets worse in the winter when it's shut down. It's like it's dormant in the summer and whatever. But he's like, I'm going to Miami. I'm never coming back. And then Danny calls him for help, and then it's this crazy. It's actually this really touching sequence where you're reading it, and even though you kind of know what happens, it's like him buying the ticket and getting arrested by the cops because he was speeding, and like he misses the plane, and like Danny's like, you know, in immediate trouble, and then in the snow and all that, and trying to get up there. It's a really really cool. It's a very effective sequence.
I always feel bad for him because like he gets to leave Miami and travel all this way, like makes it the snowcat, like it's a huge fucking journey, and then he immediately just gets an axe to the chest. Like I have become a very nervous traveler, and like on planes I'm just like, man, if this plane crashes, at least like crash on takeoff. Like don't make me go through like a 9-hour flight, you know, and then like, you know, almost be there at the end.
And the snowcat on the other end of it.
It's a lot of hassle.
Am I remembering correctly? There is a deleted scene where he's alive, or am I losing my mind? Where he's in the hospital or something? Is there something?
No, he wasn't alive. It was Wendy in the hospital.
Oh, it's Wendy in the hospital.
Yes.
Okay,
in
that
the
was the
original
original
theatrical.
ending.
Gotcha. With the caretaker, the manager guy coming back.
Ullman is
Okay,
back,
sorry.
yeah.
Okay,
Ullman,
but
yeah.
What is that? What happens in that scene? What do they do?
It's just an everything is okay kind of thing, and Danny and Kubrick.
But his body's
decided
not. They didn't find his body. They didn't find
Right.
Jack's body.
right.
So like,
and he
something
decided
happened.
he hated it, so he actually had somebody go around because it was already.
I think
printed out.
Leon is one of the guys that had to travel around and do the cutting.
Out of the theatrical, and then clipping the credits back. I mean, just banana. I mean, that's Kubrick.
Kubrick. So like that.
So a bunch of people actually have seen that scene because if you watched on opening day, you saw that ending.
Kubrick Is it like on? Like, can we watch it today, or is it just like we know of it by it?
I think it
it's
exists
online.
somewhere.
It's,
Yeah.
like somebody scanned it somewhere now, and you can see it.
Those
It's
are
nothing.
some of my
I mean, that's
those
why
are
they
some
cut
of
it.
my favorite Kubrick stories of like just his obsession about projection in particular, and like going around and like he had this like anyone who wrote him a fan letter, if he thought that they were a good fan, like if the fan letter was good, he would put them in like a geographically organized file fax, and like when they would have like he would see like one of his movies was in like a repertory screening or whatever, he would like send them a note, be like, go check it out, make sure it's not fucked up, like that they're not underlining my movie. And then like he also had like some network, I don't know why this was true, but like this was in one of these like post like after his posthumous articles about like his files and everything, and it was like he had some like network of people he could call up to like find out what the price of a hooker was in like any part of the world, like just like he had like random like people on call at any time who he could like get information about in terms of like, okay, what's going on out there in Topeka, what's a theater charge for popcorn, how much is a hooker, and like did they have the right kind of the movie. Like,
I've definitely told Dave this story, but I tell you guys this story on the podcast. My production designer, the great Jim Clay, legend Jim Clay, worked for Kubrick for 12 weeks on Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, yeah.
But he had to sleep at night with a pager on a necklace on his chest because Stanley liked to keep late hours. So you would get a call, like the pager would go off at 3 a.m, and you would have to wake up and go to the desk and call him because that's when he was at his like creative, apex, and that's when he wanted to talk. And,
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
How long did they shoot for Eyes Wide Shut? Was that
Like a
also
year.
like a
It
year?
was a real long one.
Yeah.
It was a real long one.
Jesus.
Yeah, this was in prep. Jim worked for him in prep,
Yeah.
and it did not work out.
Do you guys know how did they do the panning shot with Jack swinging the axe? Did they was it just like on the camera was like on an arm and they were like whipping it around? It's so smooth but amazing.
It was a trick to I remember the timing of that because that's in the Vivian Kubrick documentary, right?
Yeah.
Where they're trying to
Yeah.
I mean, my sense is that it's just on a head that or on a on a whatever, call it a slider where you're just doing you're just
whipping it back,
trying to make that. Yeah, it's a whip pan, right?
This is amazing. Really.
On all of the stuff like they show of how they shot, it was very mechanical how they were shooting everything.
Yeah.
They were just really moving big cameras around. Like there's not a
very
lot
limited CGI on this film.
Yeah,
there was not a lot of CGI.
Not a lot.
Danny is 100% CGI.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the furry and the guy in the room? Like that's just like
That's
just
in
an
the
added
book.
thing. And it is this moment
crazy.
where the walls are breaking down, right? Like so now
Yeah.
she can see. It's not
She
just
can see
Danny.
it.
It's not just him. Like everybody can see what's going on.
What's the
did
backstory in
you
the
guys-
book of that whole thing?
It's that party. It's the New Year's. It's the
okay.
New Year's Eve party, which plays a big recurring role in the book. That it basically gets really into how the Overlook time does not exist, so it's all happening at once, basically. So this New Year's Eve party is always going on, and that's the thing in the movie that it makes more sense once you've read the book because you're like, oh, that's what that is. Because I didn't like I've always liked that you've always been here and whatever, but it just seems like a kind of a throwaway like new idea when it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas in the book, that's very much a thing. Like there's this great scene where like Wendy goes into the elevator and it's filled with confetti and the masks and all that. And I wonder if this is one thing I actually did want to bring up because I have no idea. But the New Year's Eve party is an Eyes Wide Shut party. It's very clearly like they take their masks off and they
Masquerade.
have this big orgy. And I always wondered if that was somehow the seed for the thing
evil?
that 20 years on for Kubrick becomes like, is that the thing that actually got him interested? Oh, well, that's really interesting. I'm not going to do that here, but that's a thing for another day. It's impossible to say, but that plays a very this famous masquerade party from the 20s plays a big role in whatever happened. Whatever happened there has this haunting role in the hotel,
great.
and that's very alive, trying to suck in all of the people that.
You guys have seen this T-shirt, right? I'm sending it to you on text, which is it's the I stayed at the Overlook Hotel and all I got was my dick sucked by some guy in a dog costume.
But it's a horrific mask on the front of the dog. Like
Really fucking scary.
The teeth on that thing is not like really fellatio friendly. Like it's very, very.
The shirt is not saying it was good. It's just saying
it
it's
just
all I
happened.
got. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Oh my God. Talking about horror, just quick honorable mentions. The blue font, Jason, at the beginning of the movie for The Shining, like that was very. We talk about cocaine credits, but like that was a weird.
Just the weird way they roll up. It's like
They roll up.
Like even like I watched it again last night just to whatever, and I was just and I actually stopped and went back to the
weird.
beginning and rewatched the credits. I was just like, who? This is like a weird like foreign movie or something. Like just yeah.
Because when it's the black and white, it makes a lot more sense. Like, oh yeah, this is the Kubrick font. This is like it makes sense.
By the way,
blue was very weird.
One other point, just to throw one more in there. The Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Never has a fucking day of the week been so horrifying. The way those things upcut scenes and like jump to them, and then like kind of go into the next scene. It's so off-putting. It's so rhythm breaking and incredible. Yeah, and
the fact that it starts with 1 month later.
Yep,
it's like it's a month. Then it's days of the week. Then it's 8 a.m.
Yep,
and then like 3 p.m. or whatever. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Fucking terrifying. And all the crossfades. The editing on this movie is just gorgeous. Really, really beautiful. Last piece of horror, Danny is just not wearing a seatbelt in that car at all. He's just like
no
right
one was.
No one 70s.
Love those 70s, yeah.
Yeah, you got to love it. Guys, who would Tilda Swinton play?
There's two answers. Obviously, the obvious one is Scatman Carruthers. That's just
right.
Like just her with the feet up and like with the same set and then traveling to get there.
Yeah. But Dave, is the painting in that case also Tilda Swinton?
It's also her.
Or the woman in the bathtub is just
the woman
Tilda
in the
Swinton.
bathtub was the one I had. Yeah.
Or in a different remake in the miniseries, she's Tony. She's Tony.
There you go. Yeah.
By the way, is it correct? Apparently, in the book, Tony is Danny from the future.
Danny from the future. Yeah, it's sort of suggested. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
which is also in the miniseries, but not really in the book. Yeah.
So let me ask the question. I ran out of time. I had contemplated. Has anyone here watched Dr. Sleep?
Yes.
And
it's not awful, but it's also not great either. Yeah.
And is it based on Stephen? Did he write?
He wrote the book.
Sequel?
He wrote the book. Yep.
Okay.
He wrote a book.
Yeah.
It's Danny all these years later, I think living under an assumed name. He has the
Ewan
power.
McGregor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's solid in it. And
Rebecca Ferguson.
Yes, who's creepy
Hello.
and ear like really horrifying. It's basically I feel like it I don't know all my Stephen King like the larger universe. I
Castle
feel like
Rock.
Yeah, it's like this group of traveling people that I think are from some of the other books coming to feed on the Shining people. So it's a more out and out horror movie as opposed to I think the original Shining. Yeah, exactly. So, but it's certainly watchable. I mean, I didn't read the book either, so yeah.
A fascinating idea of like tying all those things together through, across.
Yes,
Dark
trying
Tower
to create
and all
these,
that
the multiverse of the Stephen
Yeah.
King world. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to close it for me for Tilda, I would go for Lloyd. I think she'd be amazing as Lloyd. And also Joe Turkel between this and Blade Runner. Come on, man.
What a
He had
couple of
good
years.
couple
Yeah.
years.
But by the way, I'd watch her as Jack. So I mean, this is one where she could literally play every part.
She could do every part.
Yeah. My suggestion was the Grady twins.
Oh, it's so good.
I believe that was a young Tilda Swinton and her sister. Like that was actually is
The
her.
Grady twins also not in the book.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
interesting.
Yeah, Grady killed his family, and he meets
Right.
Grady, or there's an encounter with Grady, but no twins, which is it's just funny these icons, the twins, all work and no play, the tricycle not in the book.
Yeah.
Right. Just I mean that's cinema,
The the reference, I hadn't picked it up before, that the daughter tried to burn down, Grady's daughter tried to burn down the hotel.
Yeah.
And so there was some awareness and some resistance and trying to fight it, but Grady was able to succeed in delivering them. Wow. You guys, we did it.
Bravo.
Good movie.
Dune Pod.
300
Congrats on,
episodes
300.
of Dune Pod.
Yeah. Dune 3 trailer and Escape Hatch 300 same day.
It's a pretty
big.
it's as blessed as we've ever been with timing, to be perfectly honest. We normally don't get a little screwed with the release of like the trailers or whatever happens. It's like we're on vacation and we have to figure out how to recover it or whatever. This was great.
We've also relaxed. Like we recorded an emergency reaction pod when the first trailer came out. So we're like, we've aged a little bit.
That's the benefit of renaming the pod. Is like we can cover many things. We contain multitudes now. We're not just totally,
Yeah, we do miniseries from time to time. So
Great.
stay tuned.
Sign Dave up.
Dave, what do you have to plug, my friend?
Just the stuff dreams are made of, coming to you every week, where better podcasts are found. Yeah.
Finer
Terrific.
podcasts are
I
sold,
listen-
yeah.
I listened to your comeback episode and covering the prop store auction, and there's just a lot of great stuff on there. So folks should check that out. Ryan, anything else you have going on besides the stuff dreams are made of?
My show, House of the Dragon, returns this summer in June for season 3. So by the time this airs, it will be, I will say, I think it's less than 3 months away. So how about that? There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you film all of your behind-the-scenes stuff?
Yes.
Nice. And what jacket did you?
Yeah,
what,
new
can you
jacket?
give us
I did.
Can you
I
give
broke
us a
out.
sneak peek?
It's not a new one, but it's one that I have not used for the behind the scenes. I feel challenged now. People are
And
really
is it
into
green or black? What
the
color?
Jackets.
What color is
You'll
it?
have to wait and see.
Yeah,
see
don't
for
spoil it.
the
No
house
spoilers.
The house the Dragon's
Jesus.
built in order to get it. Yes. No. We are. Plans are being made. Pictures are being locked. We talked about it a little on the podcast, but we just did a little bit of enhancements and pickups. We did like a week and a half of that, so we just finished that, which means we'll start locking picture pretty rapidly. So like kind of the dominoes start to fall after this. We just have to lock and get on to the next thing. So it's getting very real now, and score and sound mix and final visual effects are starting to happen, particularly in the early-ish episodes. So it's getting exciting. It's starting to feel like a real thing, and I'm very proud of it. So I'm very excited to get it out there this season. I think
Amazing.
people's patience or impatience or whatever over the last 2 years will be rewarded.
Well, it's got to feel
fine.
good too, because it's like I feel like the Game of Thrones franchise writ large is at a local maximum right now, like in terms of just fan excitement for the universe. Like it feels like everyone's like, okay, like we've got 2 shows, they're both cooking, like we don't have to wait like for a long time, like it's a lot, there are some things that happened in the distant past long ago that like where everyone's moved beyond now, like let's just get to where
Have
we're going.
they?
Almost everyone. How's season 4 looking, buddy? How's it going? How's the scripts coming along?
We are. Yeah. we're deep
No
into-
pressure.
We're deep. We're deep into.
Jesus,
writing.
Ryan, hurry up.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's
Listen,
that it's that year
a
that
knight
I
finishes
take
his
off
stories.
between every show that just we're like it's snake eating its tail. We started that before we finished the end of before we finished filming on.
Can
season
you
3. But no,
stop?
we're
Can you stop taking your 2-year Riviera breaks, please?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's your creative process is your creative process, Dave. What I do.
Just take a job at a hotel, closed over the wintertime, and
That's
you just bang it out.
That's right. I have thought about it. Yes, that's also cooking along. It's exciting. We're sort of we're getting into that place where very soon I will be doing things for the last time.
Wow.
That's
In
sad.
January, we marked it with it was our last pitch out to HBO. Like we pitched out HBO on the 4th season in January, and it was like, yeah, guys, this is the last time we're gonna do this. It's pretty crazy.
That's
In
great.
the back of your head, you can hear the siren call of your home theater from New Jersey.
That's right.
Calling
Yeah.
out to you.
No, you can't hear it because it's been soundproofed.
Shoot.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Only I can hear it because I'm locked inside. Watching The Shining.
Does that mean
It's
you
my
don't
own
have-
Overlook Hotel.
You'll never have
I've
to
always been
pitch
there.
out to the Ellisons directly? You don't have to fly to Lanai and tell
We'll
them your
see.
vision?
We'll see. I've said
breaking news.
I've been on this show long enough that I have actually toured 2 different Warner Brothers CEOs through my sets.
Yeah.
So let's make it a trifecta, guys. Let's bring it on.
And how many
Awesome.
logos has your show been streamed under? At the time
I laughed this week because very sweetly Lonnie we won the Saturn Award in last year
Wow.
for Best Fantasy Series. Thank you.
Nice.
Lonnie very sweetly went and collected that for me and surprised me and brought it out. It's nice. It's a nice, cool, chunky award.
cool.
It's gigantic. It's like,
Yeah.
if you were reaching for something to beat a robber, you don't want your Oscar. I thought it was the Golden
Right.
Globe because it's very solid, but I don't have an Oscar, but I've held one before. It's the Saturn because it is a blunt force and it's got the ring of
Nice.
Saturn. It's you could do both blunt force and kind of sharp force all at the same time. But it says on the plaque. Because it says the show and the year and whatever, and it just says Max under it, and I was like, "What a snapshot in time!
Yeah.
What a lucky sort of forever I will have." You would have had to win that award in that 6-month
That year.
period
in that, that very
to have it
narrow
say
range.
Max. And I was actually kind of delighted by that.
It's so funny. Lonnie's a good
awesome.
choice to send to go pick up a award. He's very handsome. You should use him as the
Yeah.
face of the operation.
Yes, if you need him to smuggle a dangerous object through an airport with just his charm alone,
Yeah, he
He's,
can
uh,
exfil the shit out of that.
yeah, he did it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, he gets there and he looks around and he sees a woman TSA agent. He's like, I'm gonna head for that line.
There you go. There you go.
With my Saturn.
Yeah, with
Saturn.
my smuggled Saturn award. Yeah.
so good.
Perfect. You guys, thank
We did
you
it.
so much. We did it. Holy shit.
That was great.
Right?
The Shining.
The
Shining.
Shining. It's still good.
Yeah,
Still-
still great. I really enjoyed watching it again for the pod, and I knew I'd enjoy talking about it. And we had great guests.
How about those guys?
They're great. I love those guys.
The best.
It's nice that they're friends.
We're really lucky.
I wish them the best.
Yeah, we are incredibly, incredibly lucky, and I'm just so thankful.
Yeah,
I'm so
we ride
thankful
with
for
them.
300 episodes. I'm thankful
It's a
for
good
your
place to
partnership
quit.
and for
Good place to
getting
quit.
this done. It was a great run.
Yeah, it was a great run.
We had a great run.
We almost made it to the Dune Part 3
You're
premiere.
just like anything to get out of the premiere. You're like, that's the December
so
11th, Jupiter Ascending.
I'm so conflicted about the premiere. Like, I would love to see everyone. It's just such a miserable time of year. I mean, not like miserable, but like just really hectic. I don't know. We'll have to.
We'll
have
see.
to see. We'll see.
Everybody stay tuned. Jason, can we do some quick letters?
Let's do some letters.
All right, great. How about if we start with someone we've never gotten a letter from before? First
Exciting.
time, long time.
Exciting.
First time, long time. Here we go.
Hello, it's Rosie here
Oh yes.
with a quite outrageous story, honestly, about why I am sending this voice note during our live recording chat. I was lucky enough to see the June 3 trailer launch yesterday at Century
Damn.
City AMC. Glamorous as ever, LA, always in a mall. But it was incredible. The trailer, which you have now all seen, is completely spectacular, leans into what Denis told us was a new thriller tone. I wrote about it at The National. You can check out my article there, of course. But one of the most exciting moments for me, and why I know many of you wanted to hear my take on this, was the fact that Robert Pattinson himself showed up. Yes, Edward
yes.
Cullen, or one of his many other legendary roles, whether he's in Good Time or High Life, or now
Yeah.
apparently June 3. He was a delightful surprise. I knew Denis was going to be there, which was obviously exciting, but to see our Pats in person with Zendaya
Oh my
and
God.
Javier Bardem and Anya Taylor-Joy, it was a smorgasbord of
Wow, what a
riches, guys. So I'm going to have to ask you, I'm going to do a twist on one of our most famous questions, guys. I need you to insert Robert Pattinson into this movie.
Wow.
And yes, and then I stayed up too late working on it, and I fell asleep, and I almost missed my deadline, but I did it! And now I'm here with this very late voice note. I love you guys. Bye!
Who would Robert Pattinson play?
He's definitely the guy getting blown for sure. I feel it's very straightforward. He's the one getting the toothy blowjob from the dog costume guy.
I mean, I'll put him in the dog costume. Why not?
Okay. He's both roles.
Whatever it takes. Rosie, incredible.
What a joy to get a field report like that. That's from a real media reporter. That's exciting. I'm glad she got to see that. I'm glad she got to see Art Pats live. It's very exciting. That's a really cool thing to get to go do. That's what you get to do if you live in LA. If you're in, you get those kind of things. I do think it's interesting.
That's literally the only thing holding us back.
I do think it's interesting that Timmy's not there. I mean, it was like there from video because we know very clearly he was in LA 3 nights ago or 2 nights ago. And he's just
can't make it.
I'm not available.
I mean, it was the day after. It was Monday morning, so like I understand.
Was it
why
literally Monday morning? It was
yesterday.
Oh,
they filmed it yesterday.
Oh, tough one.
So I think he was like sleeping it off. Is my guess.
He's like, listen, I'll do this from Zoom. What a tough life. We didn't talk about it much during the top half. And like again, like I am so happy with like Coogler getting the Oscar and with Michael B. Jordan getting the Oscar. I do feel bad for our guy because like it really did seem like he had it. I don't really think it was the ballet stuff, the ballet opera stuff. I just think that like the Academy is old and fussy and they want you to earn it. And like, they're going to, just like Leo had to wait, he's going to have to wait. And he might have to wait like another 20 years. Like it's not going to be for Dune 3. But I just feel bad because it's clear that like he's really trying to do something and like it really matters a lot to him. And now he's got to kind of go out there and do this whole Dune 3, endeavor. And I just hope in a
huge ensemble, right? Like it's a huge ensemble.
Yeah.
Even though it rides on him, it'll be a lot less. It's very different from Marty Supreme, where it's like he is the whole thing.
I mean, it's sort of different. Like he's definitely the lead.
For sure.
So it's not like he's like, it's not like he's in a fucking, Christopher Guest movie or something like that. Where he's it's still definitely the Timmy show, but
yeah.
I just hope he's doesn't make any drastic.
We hope he finds peace.
We hope he finds peace. The thing that's like tough that I will say in the whole thing was just when you put yourself out there as like the braggadocious kind of I'm there to swagger and like, I care about this. When you fail, like people like in America, people will root for your downfall. And like it's kind of the like people really enjoying like mocking him for failing here. And I'm like, well, that's just like kind of fucked up. Like, it's like he's he cares about this and like you're making fun of him for caring. And I don't know.
He should probably call Greta and just go do a sensitive role and like be conflicted again. And
do we know what he's filming next? I assume like it must be known what he's actually doing next.
I actually don't know. I don't know what his next project is. I mean, there was talk about Call Me By Your Name too, Electric Boogaloo.
There was that, but I don't think that's a real thing.
I don't see Army coming back for that.
Let's see. What does it say? Following Dune 3, he's attached to star in James Mangold's motorsports robbery film High Side.
Heist movie.
Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned. We'll see. We will see what happened. Thank you so much, Rosie. We love you. We will see you back on the pod as soon as possible.
Yeah,
Stay tuned. Here is our next voicemail. Jason, you'd love to hear from her.
Baby, this is Lizen.
All right. Here we go, Lizen.
Hello, I'm Shelley Duvall. Welcome to Fairy Tale Theater. For centuries, storytellers have spun their tales of magic and enchantment for the young at heart. Some of your favorite actors, writers, and directors have come together to bring these classic tales to your home. It's full of fun and magic, and it's scary enough to make your hair curl. So sit back and relax and enjoy tonight's tale of a young dreamer named Jack and a filmmaker named Stanley, who believed that the only way to make an actress perform was to drive her to distress, fear, and exhaustion. But there's a curious thing about that, because actors, the really good ones, don't need to hurt to pretend. They imagine. They transform. That's the whole point. As another great actor once said, when asked about such methods, have you tried acting? It's a myth that suffering makes art better. And now, our story begins. Thank you. XOXO. Listen.
I like it is interesting because like I really going into the movie I was like, oh yeah, like this is the one where he was like so mean to Shelley Duvall, and like definitely he was kind of mean to Shelley Duvall, like there's parts where he's there's creative differences or whatever, but I my overwhelming takeaway from this fresh viewing of the behind the scenes was like, oh, I think this was like kind of a thing that she was doing with him, like to kind of get into the part, and they all went a bit daffy, like making this fucking weird ass movie together, where they had to record it.
You were a Kubrick apologist.
Well, I'm definitely a Kubrick apologist.
So I think she got swept up, and I think it was tough stuff, and it was definitely collaborative up to a point, and then there was some aggressive treatment, but it is what it is.
I mean, aggressive treatment sounds like a Me Too situation, and I don't really know.
No, not like that. I don't think about it like that. But I think about it more as like the power of the director, and then using that to kind of. He is famous for pushing his actors around and pushing them to uncomfortable places. So it's just like It's a tough thing.
I know Gen Z workers would never be able to put up with this shit. They fucking
listen. I'm sure it was much easier working with Altman on Popeye. So,
because everyone was on coke. Like everyone was just
more fun set.
Zooted. Yeah,
a more fun set. All right, here comes our. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lizen. We really appreciate it. Here comes our next voicemail. Jason, I harangued this voicemailer because I didn't want to do 300 without him.
Oh, good.
All right, here we go, silly.
What is up, my dudes? It is a big day today, number 300. It is also St. Patrick's Day. It is also, and this is the truth, my father's birthday.
Wow.
We were given an incredible gift, the drop of the Dune 3 teaser.
Yes.
Dudes, I am so ready to get weird.
Yeah.
I'm so ready for high fashion. I'm ready for Arpat, the Pale Knight, the Guild Navigator, cool spaceships, hundreds of Jason Momoas running around like minions. And in many ways, I think what Denis has done with Dune is similar with what Kubrick did with The Shining, that he took dense material, he kind of flattened it, he made it visually amazing, kind of picked on the essential themes that he thought was cool. So it all lines up. It all lines up. Thanks, guys, for an incredible journey. Here's to 300 more, and excited to see Dune 3 with all you crazy dudes.
That's great. It was a great voicemail.
I love it. It is interesting. We know that Denis loves 2001 specifically, and then obviously Lawrence of Arabia is his next one. But I don't know whether he has a full Kubrick fetish. Like, I'm sure the respect is there.
I think he has. I think he has a pretty clear Kubrick fetish. I don't think we need to speculate very much. Like, I think like Nolan and Villeneuve, like, both clearly have a Kubrick
worship
fetish.
at the altar.
Yeah. I think like I don't think it's it's pretty obvious.
God, did you listen to House of R with Van for Interstellar?
I saw clips of it. I heard it was really good.
God, it's
the
really
stuff I saw was really good. Yeah, it was really funny. I like the part. I like the part where they're talking. The clip I saw was when he was like basically saying that the young Jessica Chastain character, who's like, she could, she could give him a little less of a hard time. Like, he's trying to save fucking everyone, and she's like boo-hooing or whatever. It was so funny.
He tagged her as the villain of the movie. Yeah,
I found out in one of these things that Van has an Oscar. Did you know that?
What?
Yeah, he has an Oscar for a short film.
I did not know that. That's amazing. Yeah. Oscar winner, Van.
Yeah.
Woo, man! I would love to have him on the pod next week.
That'd be exciting. He'd be a great guest.
A great get. Pew, pew. Stay tuned, everybody. Here is our next voicemail.
This is your brother, Animal Mother.
All right, here we go.
No live organism can continue for long to exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality. Hill House, not sane, stood by itself against its hills, holding darkness within. Silence lay steadily against the wood and stone of Hill House, and whatever walked there, walked alone.
Hello, animal friends and animal lovers. Channeling Edith Wharton. I don't believe in ghosts, but I'm afraid of them. They're wounds in the skin of reality, manifested as restless dead fixed on torment, or as fear frozen in time following a grotesque act of violence, such as a drunk injuring his toddler's arm. The horrors Jack would inflict on his wife and kid were always around the corner, and as far away as one drink too many. The overlooked spirits are haunting as God's silence, and the hotel itself might be hell's mouth, but Jack was fitting his family to it all the same. He was always the caretaker after all. Little pigs, let me come in. 300 episodes in, will you play with us forever and ever and ever? Thank you all. See you.
Red rum! Red rum! Red rum! Red rum!
It's good. It's pretty strong.
Nicely done. Yeah,
pretty
really strong.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
that. Good editing. Animal
yes.
Mother's voicemails always throw off my my transcription tool because it's got
Yes.
like all the samples and stuff. They always require special handling, but it's worth it.
Worth it indeed. Thank you so much, Animal Mother. We will be here until we end up, like dismembered on the hallway floor. That's how it'll go. Here is our next voicemail. Mr. Java. All right, Java. 3 minutes on this one, guys. Get ready. We got a whole song.
Oh, good.
Corey rapped on that about his movie time. Who Tilda would play if she was 25? The Scatman? She can play anything, and she's got the shine. And Ethan Foggin Pod from deep down under. And Kev's got questions that always bring the thunder. All over the place. Danger is his middle name. H is making crazy podcasts saying we're Gen X and Millennial Rex. Oh man, I need a Discord. I've got this podcast. Oh brother, you guessed it. I'm a voicemailer. Hey voicemailers. I know you're out there. Stand up, come on. Oh, we want to hear you. I even want to see you. I want to talk to you, all of you. Right now. Listen sounds so sweet with the voice of a queen, but she's not an AI. She's the real deal, team. She can voicemail. Oh, yes, we love her voicemails. Animal Mother's back at home with his clips and quotes. He always has heavy questions that we all love. And Silly's in the hut, gonna make the cut. He's drunk some wine and he's feeling fine. Got his true say questions there. Oh man, is it the first one or is it all three? Yeah, yeah. I'm a voicemailer. I know you love voicemailers. But what has surprised you all the most about us, the voicemailers? better not lie. Because this is 300. Oh, I said 300.
300, baby.
A special day, special day. Tell us what surprised you. We love you. It's Game Hatch, oh yeah.
Man, that sounded good. That was good as hell.
Yeah. Jesus.
That was great.
Yeah. Wow. What surprised us the most? I mean,
Listen.
oh, fuck. Yeah. Thank you.
Listen. Yeah, I mean, obviously the voicemail has always surprised us the most. Like the fact that we even have voicemails is what surprises me the most. Like it's a miracle that anyone listens and that we have people, use it as their own like place to put their own spin on things. When I was going through and making all the transcripts, re-editing the transcripts for the transcript bot, join our Discord to see the transcript bot. Or you can go to search.escapehatch.com. But you can making it work for the voicemailers was like a big kind of feature, so that it would know how to extract just the parts from the voicemailers and know what was being talked about and be able to do stuff over those. And it was
custom logic
for voicemailers. Because it's such an important part of the show that it could not work. And so there's lots of stuff that had to happen just to make that work. And
it's very cool.
It's amazing how rich the voicemail canvas is, and how especially where it started to where we've gotten. I think our first voicemail ever was your daughter,
Jonesy. Oh, yeah. No, Cayman might have been the first. Cayman might have been the very first, and then I think Jonesy maybe sent a letter. Maybe it was the first letter. I can't remember.
The Cayman one definitely felt like a pity voicemail, where it was just like, okay, my dad's doing this thing. Let me just, he's. I gotta help him out. I gotta help out the old man.
Jonesy hit us with like a letter or a voicemail on the Arrival episode with Veronica, and he trashed. I think he trashed Dune, and then he trashed it again as well. When he finished Dune, he was not a huge fan of the book.
That makes sense.
So we had to get through that. But yes, from very humble origins, it's been incredible to see how people have really taken this thing and flown with it. So. Incredible. We love you guys. Java, thank you so much. I'm already thinking about the year-end summary since he did.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah, I assume it won't be. We didn't start the fire again, so I can't wait to see what is going to be our summation for the year. Here is our next voicemail, which I almost forgot.
Oh, geez.
Hello, Bogpod. Hey, Bogpod. Hello, Bogpod. Hey, Bogpod. Hello, Bogpod. Hey, Bogpod. Bogpod.
Bog Pod. Say it proud, Jason.
Bog Pod.
G'day, Boghatch. 300 years of Escape Hatch. It's a pretty big deal. Congratulations on getting there. I'm a bit psyched out at the moment. I'm going to psych you guys out as well, if that's okay. I'm 23 years old. And I started listening to this podcast when I was 19. I had long hair.
Barely legal, if they call that.
Then. And 19 to 23 is the peak brain formation period for dudes, I'm pretty sure. Which means, and I'm not going to freak you out, guys, actually, no pressure. But that does mean that there's a very good chance when you get sort of 1 to 2 hours per week, regular intake, this podcast has probably had an effect on the shape of my frontal lobe.
Oh, yeah. Made it real smooth.
You're welcome.
Anyway, you're doing The Shining today. It's a good movie about a guy who freaks out and decides to kill his entire family. Speaking of murderous rage, my question to you is, what is the most frustrated you've ever been at a minor thing? Just comically, it's just two ways to even describe it as a comically small issue.
Yeah.
I went on a friend's trip 2 years ago, and we had a shared playlist. I hope you all know that shared playlists are just thorny things anyway. People get pissed off that their music isn't being played enough, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, Veritas Quo comes on by Daft Punk, one of their best songs.
I love that song.
I'm getting shit on for electronic music the whole trip. And then someone just says with full hatred, this sounds like Geometry Dash music.
Wow.
Jesus.
Got so angry I couldn't speak. See ya. Lots of love.
That doesn't sound that minor.
I
Like
don't
that
know
was
what
like
what is Geometry Dash? Is that like an Australian? Is that like what is
some kind of music?
like a
some
kids
kind
show?
Of like math oriented music.
Oh, it's
like,
a
I'll
video
definitely-
game. It's a video game. It's
Okay.
a side scroller video game. I don't. That one missed me, but that's insulting. And you should have jumped out of the car, crazy stupid love style, just opened the door and rolled out.
Yeah. Or push someone else out of the car.
Something. I like that we are responsible for Ethan's frontal lobe. I think his frontal lobe is healthier because of us. And you're welcome. For me, the thing that gets me, and it's interesting because it also gets Griffin too, so there must be some genetic involved, is when I can't find something I'm looking for in the house. I just fucking lose my shit completely. It like drives me crazy. And I have a particular kind of like blindness of like not being able to see the thing that's like right in front of me. So yeah, it drives me fucking nuts. I hate that shit.
I think the most angry I've been recently, April has determined that I can get frustrated when dealing with technology.
Yes.
And I was working with ChatGPT, and this was the day I was trying to edit the live video episode. It was the first time I'd ever done live video. And there was a feature that Adobe Premiere introduced, which allows it to automatically choose between the 3 different video feeds that I had. So it could cut back and forth automatically, which you would imagine would be very valuable. Like it shows you while you take the joke, and then it cuts to me when I'm laughing at the joke or whatever.
Yeah, that's good.
The wide shot. I was like, this sounds amazing. I need this because I've never edited. I've never done video editing before. And it's like, oh, you need to upgrade the version. And so then I upgraded the version. I'm like, it's not there. It's like, no, click here and here and here. And I'm like, it's not there. And then it's like, oh, no, it's not that. It's not available in the main version. It's available in the beta version. So I was like, okay, go install the beta version, go through, re-import all the stuff, go through, like spend an hour getting it all up and running in the beta version. And then I'm like, it's not there. And then ChatGPT's like, oh, sorry, it's not in the beta version. It actually, they removed the feature and it's no longer available in any version. So I spent like 2.5 hours fucking around, and I was like yelling at ChatGPT, like, it's not there. Like, here's the screenshot. What are you doing to me?
I love that.
And
why didn't you contact senior support?
It's a great question. I should have.
That's your move. Your move is
I should have.
Technology frustrates you. Just contact the senior support specialist.
But I could tell Chat was getting nervous. It was like, okay. You're very close.
You're going to get flagged.
You're right around the corner from being able to get this feature to work. And so, like, I've reset my expectations, and I'm actually being very, patient with Claude and going out of my way. Because, like, I got a good thing going with Claude. I don't want to mess it up.
You don't want Claude to, like, turn you in for being, like, a abuser.
Psycho?
Yeah. No
exactly.
one wants that.
Thanks for making me relive that, Ethan. Really appreciate it. Here is our next voicemail. The Truth Sayer. Let's go.
Hey, Alberia here. Episode 300, the tricentennial version of The Truth Sayer, focusing on The Shining. Stephen King, of course, the most successful American writer of the last 50 years, selling hundreds of millions of books. He's helped transform the culture's nervous system by scaring the daylights out of us. And yet, like all great artists, he eventually formed a band. Stephen King, founding member of an all-writer rock band that has included Amy Tan, Dave Barry, Scott Turow, Roy Blunt Jr., and James McBride, among lots of others. For today's Truth Sayer, we ask, what is the name of Stephen King's Airport Bookstore all-star rock band? 2 of these names are fiction.
Wow.
1 is real. Time for the Truth Sayer. Number 1, the band is called The Loose Change. Or is it number 2? The band is called The Unsupervised Adults. Or is it number 3? The band is called The Rock Bottom Remainders. So which of these is the real band name of Stephen King and the best-selling authors?
I think the Rock Bottom Remainders is too cute because it's like a very booky reference or whatever. So I'm going to rule that one out.
Loose Change. I'm going.
That was
with.
what I felt too. I'm going to stand with you.
All right, let's do this. United together.
Yeah,
here we go.
As it must be for episode 300.
Yeah, it never happened before. Here we go.
Yeah, according to Dave Barry, the motto of this band is, we play music as well as Metallica writes novels. and the band is called the Rock Bottom Remainders.
Wow!
Episode 300. More members of the band include Ridley Pearson, Mitch Albom, Barbara Kingsolver, Robert Fulham, Matt Groening, and the honorary member, Maya Angelou, among others.
Tough one.
And they added a bunch of professional musicians to make sure they actually sounded good. They played a bunch of shows for charity, mostly throughout the mid-90s to the 2010s.
Wow.
All writing and no rhythm guitar makes Stephen King a dull boy. Here ends The Truth Sayers.
Interesting.
Amazing.
That's
We
a
should have
great
picked that one
one
for the longest one, the longest name.
I'm always surprised at how he's always got something. He's always got something that I'm not expecting. He zigs when and I know a lot of random facts about bullshit, and yet like the times in which I've been like, oh, I actually know this one is like 3.
Yeah.
How does he do it?
He knows
He's
you.
been doing it for a while.
He's been studying us, and he's got it. He's got our number for sure. Nice job, Birya. Thank you so much, and I cannot wait for Lapis Lazuli Blues final coming.
What is
soon
that? Oh,
on
that's
Escape
the
Hatch.
that's the special episode.
That's the radio play that he has helped to coordinate. So stay tuned
great.
for that.
Great.
Here is our next voicemail.
Hello, Escape Patch. It's Kev here. Lot to talk about this week, so I'll try to make it quick. First of all, happy 300 episodes. That is unbelievable how far you've come. It's crazy to think about.
It's crazy.
You know, and I just want to give a shout out, number 1, to you guys for doing it, but number 2, to the greatest voicemail segment in the history of the medium.
Yeah.
The Escape Hatch voicemailers. All of us, like the people in the party in the Overlook Hotel, trapped but having a great time. Always been here. Kev's question, The Shining is about a family who decides to take a vacation, kind of a working vacation, but nonetheless get away from everyone, ever. So with that in mind, as of right now, what is your dream vacation? Where do you want to go? And why is it New York? All right. Okay, episode 300, The Shining. I think, is there anything else to talk about? Oh, yeah, the Dune Part 3 trailer. Holy shit. Unbelievable. I stopped everything in my office and had to play it on the biggest screen I could. I am absolutely in love with this film already. A bit more action than the text would suggest, but I think that's great. Outfits are outfitting. The culmination of Denny's saga is here, and I, for one, am pretty damn jazzed. God, I remember, 4 years ago already, I was seeing the movie 5 at New York Film Festival, and now we're here at the end. Crazy to think about. All right, peace and love. Happy 300, and I'll talk to you all so soon. So very soon. So soon, you're not going to believe it.
I love...
Once again, it's Kev's questions. So soon, we're not going to believe it.
I think maybe it's referring to the Birya thing. I don't know. But I love how excited everyone is for Dune 3. It feels like the band's back together. Like the community is here. We're ready to be hyped.
Somebody shouted it out, the fact that the original trailer that we loved so much used that Pink Floyd Eclipse cover.
Yeah, now we're like, fuck
which was
that.
So good. Now they're like, we don't need that shit. We got our own thing going on.
I like that comment. I agreed with it. I was like, yeah,
Hell
fuck
yeah.
that. We got fucking Timmy Chalamet chanting and fucking it sounds crazy. He's like, yeah, whatever that is. It's great.
We want it, whatever it is. Kev, my wife, for my birthday, since I was not able to go last weekend to South by Southwest because it keeps colliding with our school fundraiser, approved me going to a film festival, and one of the ones that was on offer was Tribeca. So stay tuned. There may be a New York meetup in our future.
There's a good
tweet. There's
a good tweet I saw just now that said Dune 3 is only the epic conclusion because they're too scared to make a movie that's just 2 straight hours of a sandworm arguing with Jason Momoa.
Yeah. But there's a whole 2 movies in between this movie and that movie.
1 movie.
You still have to do Children. I think Children will be 2.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing it.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Here is our final voicemail.
Patch, hey, this is Corey calling from Austin, Texas. Happy 300, you guys. This is amazing. I can't believe you did it. I thought at any minute it was just going to end. It was just going to, Jason would just fucking walk out the door and call it quits. But I'm glad it didn't. We're trucking, we're going strong. Episode 300, total fucking banger. Stanley Kubrick, 1980. The Shining. What the fuck?
What the
man?
fuck, man?
You know I love this movie. I know there's going to be a ton of fucking voicemails coming in, all sorts of shit, so I'm going to keep it brief. This movie is fantastic. I love everything about it. Tilda Swinton should play Lloyd. And
yes,
that's it. Thanks for everything, you guys. Happy 300. I love everybody. Bye.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. And I always love getting to line up with Corey, so that's a big one. That's a big one. Guys, we did it.
Corey said it was his shortest voicemail ever.
Yes. I'll take it. I'll take it. We gotta get out of here. It's 4:00. We've been recording for 3.5 hours.
Yeah, we've recorded for a while. It's been a minute.
We've been recording for a while. Jason, 2 months from now is our 6-year anniversary of Escape Hatch.
Oh my God. How do we keep having such special milestones all the time?
Why does it keep happening?
What are we doing for that?
That one, that'll just be like hey, we'll just shout it out that week that it happens. No big deal.
All right.
There's no big whoop. It's just another episodes. I'll shout out again, as I did for the 200 episode. I'll shout out the Paper Keg crew, which is why I got into podcasting in the first place. And when they hit episode 300, that's when they shut the podcast down.
Something to think about.
So for me, it's a big milestone. To hit the Paper Keg milestone is a pretty big one. So shout out to everybody. Still, they're doing it now on the 70 millimeter and Bat and Spider and Twin Vipers and all those other tape deck shows, keeping everything alive. But thank you to those guys for firing me up to do this in the very first place 6 years ago. What do you have to plug?
Well, let's see. It's officially the start of season 1 in World of Warcraft Midnight. So
boy.
the raids,
No more pre.
The
raids
no
are
more
on.
pre-season. The raids are open. You can start earning experience towards delves and so on. So that's pretty good.
I'm gonna need to have you start contributing to Thumper. So I'm gonna need to
I wrote
pull
a
you back
design
a little
doc
bit.
for Thumper.
I already implemented all those features.
Yeah,
I need you,
there
and
you
I've
go.
already extended beyond. I need you like on my team working on it together. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a tricky to start. Whatever. We'll figure something out.
you're like, I got raids to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I got raids to do. What else? Let's see. Let's do. How about a random new segment where I draw a random Dune tarot card, and we see what its future predicts at the end of the episode. How about that? New segment for episode 300.
We'll do it at least for this week.
Here we
Let's
go.
See how it goes.
This is a random card.
Okay.
Let's see what it is. It is the Empress.
Is that Jessica? Oh, the
Yeah,
Empress. Okay.
The Empress. The Empress. This card means, hold please, a maternal figure, beautiful and nurturing care. The same may be said of the indomitable Lady Jessica, who loves her children as fiercely as she does her partner, Duke Leto. Upright, which is how it was drawn. Now is the time to embrace your nurturing side. Others are inspired by your kindness, compassion, and gentle guidance. Appreciate the beauty all around you, and if you do not see enough of it, create it for yourself.
Wow.
Thought
We're doing it.
Thought for everyone to think about.
Okay. And just since we don't have a guest for next week, I'll just say if your boss,
If you want to be on a podcast.
No, if your boss next week, is looking for a little time to kill.
Oh yeah. No, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I'll just ask once a year. How about that? Once every 100 episodes, every two
that
years,
seems fine.
I can ask.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. We love you.
Okay.
Peace.